Richard, so good to have you here, and we are going to have a lot of fun. We're going to take the edge off this morning as we are exploring all of the wonderful ways to enjoy this dessert or savory snack. It can be breakfast. We're going to prove it on the show today, from freezing hacks to pancake art challenges. And of course, boy, do we know how these competitions run on the show, which means I'm going to need someone ultra competitive to join me in this one. But yeah, you can see we're capitalizing on a couple of awesome trends at the moment. From viral videos on social media to Expresso performance stage, we take you, and we're going to bring you three phenomenally talented young boys who make up Brown Brick Boys, and they're going to be entertaining us this morning. And yes, they are still in their school uniform, just to make us feel really old. So I said I'm going to need a bit of a competitive edge this morning. Let me see if I can find the most competitive person I know, in fact. Good morning, son.
You got it all here, buddy. Very good morning, Sanbonani, Molweni, Goeiemorgen. Welcome to it. Your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're connecting with you on social media. Of course, you can find us on Twitter. We're on Instagram and on Facebook, as well as YouTube. How about that? Of course, so what we're asking you today is who are the rising stars in your community? Because we are celebrating young talent on the show this morning. You've just seen a quick little sneak preview of what you can expect. So think about all of those young and upcoming sports stars, right? Maybe some of them are musicians, dancers. Maybe they are craftsmen or craftswomen. Whatever it is that you find in your community, and whoever it is that you find in community that is talented, that looks like they have the potential to be great in their own life. Let us know about them. And send your voice notes to us on 063-408-8863. We cannot wait to hear from you and to celebrate your community with you. This is exactly what the Feel Good Breakfast Show is all about. And we're about to get it underway with official duties on this Tuesday morning, just about 2 minutes past 6 o'clock, and a time for us to reflect on the news headlines of the day. G-Man's got the latest.
Oh, sorry to start on a dark note this morning, but we got to do it. We start with our local news front, and Eskom says due to the high number of generation unit breakdowns, there's a possibility of further changes to the roading blackout stages at short notice. So it's been implementing stage 6 since Sunday night, and this will continue until further notice. But the power utility says at this stage it should have a reliable amount of diesel supplies going forward, thanks to loan guarantees from National Treasury, and hopes to reduce load shedding to stage 4 by this Thursday. Eskom uses diesel to power turbines, which act as a backup to the coal-fired power station. So let's hope they get it done. Now we move on to the Independent Electoral Commission, or the IEC, who are encouraging all South Africans who are eligible to vote to register online to vote in next year's national election. So the IEC's campaign to encourage this is called Your Vote is Your Voice. And the IEC's Deputy Chief Electoral Officer, Mawetu Mozari, said, and we quote, "It's the campaign we are instituting as a start of the preparations for the 2024 general elections. We are encouraging voters, those registered and those not registered, and those who will be registering for the first time, to take this opportunity." And we turn to an international news front now, but fairly close to home. Kenyan researchers have detected a mosquito native to South Africa that's resistant to insecticides used in Africa. So experts from Kenya's Medical Research Institute identified the mosquito during a routine surveillance in Marsabit County, and data from hospitals there also showed an increase in malaria cases, even though it wasn't the normal season for the disease to be prevalent. This mosquito can thrive in both dry and rainy seasons and breed anywhere. Experts are concerned that malaria transmission will now continue all year round instead of being seasonal and a lot more controllable. Then at least 3 people are now said to have died and some 213 injured after a 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck southern Turkey yesterday. That's just 2 weeks after the deadly quake that has devastated the region. Now, the latest earthquake was also felt in Egypt and Lebanon. More than 30 aftershocks followed, the largest of which had been a magnitude of 5.8. Meanwhile, the Turkish Disaster Management Agency, who have been hard at work, has suspended its rescue operations after the earthquake a fortnight ago in all but 2 areas. And you know what this means for the chances of finding more survivors. The death toll presently standing at an incredible 46,500 lives lost. America is now stepping up to grant a $100 million in humanitarian aid to Turkey. And then, sure, we are still in the month of love, but kissing your loved one for some 4 minutes without breathing may seem a bit extreme, not so? Well, it depends who you are. Not for free-diving couple Beth Neal and Miles Cloutier. They have an unfair advantage, I think. They've made history for the longest underwater kiss ever. 4 minutes and 6 seconds, smashing the previous longest underwater smooch record set 13 years ago in Italy. The attempt in the Maldives was witnessed by Guinness World Records adjudicators, timekeepers, and a pretty healthy crowd of resort guests and staff. Neal from South Africa and Cloutier from Canada met some 5 years ago in Bermuda, where Neal taught Cloutier to free dive, in fact. And that's diving without breathing equipment, and they can do it at incredible depths and for long times. And they've been engaged and started training for the challenge in their home pool back here in South Africa only a fortnight before they flew into the Maldives to shatter the world record. And both said, and we quote again, "It gave us newfound appreciation for what the human body could accomplish." And so was this the smooch to end all smooches, or what record can we expect after that? Well, someone who can give it a shot. I know he's got it in him. Is about to take us through the sport. Here's Kat.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richards, for handing over the baton so smoothly there. Let's move on to sporting headlines. In cricketing news, India qualified for the Women's T20 World Cup semi-finals with a 5-run Duckworth-Lewis-Stern win over Ireland in a rain-curtailed match. Now, Ireland were 54 for 2 in the 9th over, chasing 156 when heavy rain forced an early end to the match. The win then means that India joined England in qualifying from Group 2. Smriti Madana had earlier survived being dropped 4 times to hit a career-best 87 for 56 balls. In football news, Liverpool's owner John Henry says he is not selling the club, but he expects there to be some investment in the Anfield side. Henry's Fenway Sports Group, which bought Liverpool in 2010, said it would consider new shareholders in the Reds in November. Now, FSG chairman Tom Werner later then said that the club's owner were exploring a sale. But since then, in an interview with the Boston Sports Journal, Henry said, "Are we selling LFC? No." So all the Reds fans can calm down for just a little bit. And then finally, in tennis news, Novak Djokovic has equaled Steffi Graf's record for most weeks as world #1 after starting his 377th week at the top of the men's rankings. The 35-year-old Serb has held the record for the most weeks as men's world #1 since March 2021. Can you believe that kind of record? On Monday, he then moved level with Germany's Graf, who first rose to the top of the women's rankings in 1987. Djokovic first became the world #1 in 2011, and like Graf, is a 22-time Grand Slam champion. And then in Formula One news, Lance Stroll is set to miss this week's pre-season test after suffering minor injuries in a cycling accident. Aston Martin have not yet decided how to cover his absence over the 3 days in Bahrain starting on Thursday. Stroll's injury means there is a risk that he could miss the opening race weekend as at the same track on the 3rd to the 5th of March. Now, they have choices. They can choose either between Stoffel van Doorn, the reigning Formula E champion, or Felipe Drugovich, the reigning Formula 2 champion, who would be a rookie if he did race. That's the latest from the world of sport. Right now, let's check out what's happening with your weather throughout the day as we get you ready.
Thank you so much, Kat. Let's start with some weather news first, and it has been a crazy couple of weeks, so let's see where we stand right now. Southern Africa is sadly bracing itself for Category 4 Cyclone Freddy, which is expected to make landfall in Madagascar this morning, with some 2 million people currently lying in its path. The local weather bureau says Freddy poses a direct threat to the island, with winds of up to 300 kilometers per hour and expected swells of some 7 meters beyond the reefs. And Mozambique President Felipe Nyusi has returned home early from the Africa Union summit in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, obviously, as Freddy could hit his country by weekend. Madagascar has warned of potential damage by heavy rain, strong winds and storm surges. Then flights in and out of the neighboring Mauritius are cancelled, and hundreds of people in the capital, Port Louis, have already been evacuated to 18 refugee centres on the island. And Freddie could affect nations from Tanzania to South Africa. And of course, you'll remember early last year, southern African countries were battered by 6 severe storms, similar in nature, that claimed the lives of at least 890 people. So let's hope that this isn't as extreme. Now, let's take the edge off a little bit and see how you are starting your day in your neck of the woods. And we've got some beautiful pictures coming through. Linton Dunn, thank you so much, showing us the view from Pinetown this morning. Early morning sunrise with bold orange beaming through the clouds. I'm glad you're getting up at the same time as us. Thank you for that. Then Rena down in East London snapped this photo from her balcony. The sun's rays over the homes. Beautiful start to the day. Yvette in Northcliffe, my old stomping ground, sent this view of the sun rising up over the ocean. Gorgeous view. I think it's the other Northcliffe that we're looking at there. The last up, Cheryl Potgieter in Gansbaai showcased this blissful view from the pretty pinks to the purples. Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much for getting up at the same time as us, most importantly, and for sharing your view. Keep them coming. Send those sunrise views to 063 408 8863. Right, so brand new day, brand new temperatures. Let's get you the lay of the land. We start in Polokwane. 16 is your low, going up to 31 degrees. No rain there today. Mbombela, you've got a 61% chance of rain. 17 is your low, going up to 31 degrees. Then the rain abates as we move to Pretoria. 15 your low, going up to 29. Johannesburg, 12 and 26 your range. Mahikeng, 13 and 29. Klerksdorp, 11 your low, going up to 28 degrees. Kimberley, 12 and 28. Bloemfontein, 8 and 26. 77% chance of rain rather in Richards Bay. 19 your low, going up to 25 degrees. Pietermaritzburg, chance of rain there as well. 14 is where you kickstart your day, going up to 21 degrees. Durban ranging between 19 and 24 lower temperatures, but a bit of a chance of rain to drive up the humidity. Mthatha, 12 your low, going up to 24 degrees. East London ranging between 15 and 22. Craddock, 9 is your low, going up to 27. Gqeberha, 13, your low, going up to 21 degrees. George, you're ranging between 11 and 21. Cape Town, 15 and 20. Then Worcester, 12 is your low, going up to 25 degrees. Sutherland, ranging between 7 and 22. Uppington, still relatively moderate by your normal standards. Your low, 16, going up to a high of 30 degrees. Regardless of the weather, make sure it is a beautiful day. And we're going to try help to beautify one of my colleagues right now, but he needs a little help.
Well, we all know it's never too early to start preparing for the winter, especially in terms of your wardrobe. And a good way of doing that is investing in those timeless winter staples, from classic coats to trendy puffer jackets. Woolies has you covered even on the coldest days. Now, my outfit today, by my estimation, is the epitome of the perfect winter look. A long sleeve polo neck that is paired up with a slim fit chino and some brown faux leather chukka boots. But I do need your help in helping me to choose between these two winter heroes. So option 1 will be this versatile, trendy gray coat that will elegantly fine-tune this look. I do quite like it a lot, especially the contrast that it gives. But then if you want to be going all layers of brown and those kind of tones, then option 2 might be your pick, that classic winter single breast fit coat in camel. So will it be option 1, to my near left, or option 2 over here? You can let us know. The choice is all yours. Head on over to our Expresso show social media pages and then vote for your favorite look. And of course, don't forget to include that hashtag styled by Woolies.
Only you can It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us as we delve into a medical discussion, but I think it's going to be more of a human study and one that I am really interested in. It is Rare Disease Day, which is observed on the 28th of February. So we thought we'd focus on that this morning. It's aimed to raise awareness about people living with rare medical conditions. Now, local stats currently show that 1 in 15 South Africans are affected by rare diseases, with more than 7,000 known rare diseases. Now you start to understand. Here to chat more about the day itself, as well as rare diseases, is Marianne Gomez from Rare Disease South Africa. Savannah and little Luna, who's been waving at me the whole time. Van der Walt, hello, girl. And they've got first-hand experience of rare diseases. And then Amy Kate Bosch, who is Luna's speech therapist, who also has a perspective in the space. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being so early. And thank you for bringing your A-game personality-wise, Luna. I appreciate that. And that was the first smile I was treated to this morning, so I really do. I have a little girl, and well, I've got a little boy and a little girl, but my girl is just a little bit older than Luna. So I feel this space, and my mind is just reeling. So maybe we need to understand first before we start delving into the emotional side of the story. Rare disease, it's nice and easy to blanket something as a rare disease. Now we've given it a label, go. How do we classify a rare disease? Because those numbers, they don't sound so rare in South Africa.
No, it's exactly it. And I think that's the point we're trying to get across as rare diseases, is that there might be sort of 7,000 different kinds, but collectively they affect a lot of people. We know that globally 350 million people are affected with a rare disease, and that number equates to about 4.2 million people in South Africa. So it's a lot. We classify something as being rare if it affects sort of 1 in less than, like 1 in 2,000. Less than 1 in 2,000, then it's a rare disease, officially.
And of course, unfortunately, you don't have a community to plug in. You don't have that body of work in terms of the intellectual property to plug into, which makes it almost more important that everyone needs to be working together. We can't be kind of working in separate compartments. Savannah, tell us a little bit about your gorgeous girl. What condition does Luna have? And just give us a bit of background into how this has affected your journey.
So Luna was diagnosed with Prader-Willi syndrome at about 1.5 months. She spent 30 days in the ICU.
Sure.
She was unable to suck and feed, so she had a nasal gastric tube. And yes, she was diagnosed at about 1.5 months. And yeah, like I said, she's got Prader-Willi syndrome, which is a rare genetic disorder. It affects 1 in 20,000. The bigger scheme of things is the brain, the hypothalamus has got a dysfunction. So the biggest thing for these children is they've got a hunger feeling that never goes away. It's called hyperphagia. So she will always have this sensation of she's hungry even though she's eaten.
How do you deal with that?
It's challenging. I think emotionally, mentally, physically, it's been draining. And I think there's also a sense of grief that comes with it. And as a family, it's very difficult. And I think we take it one step at a time, and we go on Luna's pace. We don't like to speak anything over her life, and we take the challenges as they come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you seem okay. You're actually pumping out quite a cool, calm energy, which is something to be said in a live TV studio while you are holding a baby. But I get it. You've had time to be able to understand at least, but I'm sure you are still grappling with the why this is happening, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. Amy Kate, you have a reason why you are doing this. You're a speech therapist, but there is a far deeper motivation. Give me a little bit of background.
So, when I was 5 years old, I was also diagnosed with a rare disease. It's called Gaucher's disease, and that affects 1 in 100,000 patients in the world. So, yeah, I've also got quite a unique journey. And Luna's and my path crossed last year when she was still in the NICU, and I was called to assist with her feeding. And I think when she was diagnosed, it was just a super special bond that we had, because to be able, for me as a speech therapist, my biggest passion was that one day I could help the rare disease community. And I think that was a big thing.
It sounds like it was always going to happen one
It was
way or
kind of
another. It
destiny
needed
that
to just fall into place.
Yeah.
I'm starting to, in my mind, understand how important a day of awareness like this is from building those connections within the community. We might not be able to find a cure, but it looks like you have found a very powerful way of addressing the situation just by those connections. So we're going to continue to spread the word, and we'd love to hear from you if you have a personal perspective. 063-408-8863. Please drop us a voice note.
Well, very inspiring conversations indeed, and I hope that you do gain strength from understanding and knowing that there is a community out there ready to support you, whatever you might be going through. But right now, it is time for us to take on the morning with vigor, with energy, enthusiasm, and enjoyment, and get our bodies moving a little bit. Now, of course, exercises are for lower back pain, which is what we're focusing on this morning. Now, they can help to strengthen your back, but not just that, also your core, your stomach, and your leg muscles as well. And they ultimately then help to also support your spine, relieving back pain. And then, but depending on the cause and intensity of your pain, some exercises may not be recommended for you, so do be careful. But here to take us through some of these exercises is fitness coach Calvin Valentino. Good to see you, my brother. How are you?
How's it? I'm good.
Very good, very good. Looking forward to stretching it out, getting those exercises in. I think, yeah, I'm one of those people where my lower back isn't as strong as it should be. And I can feel it usually when I'm planking, where I'm doing those core intensive exercises. A lot of the strain gets shifted over into the back, and you feel that burn there. So this is right up my alley.
Okay, cool. So in this segment, to start off with, we'll focus on strengthening the lower back, and then a little bit later, we'll focus on stretching and twisting out the lower back.
Lovely.
So the first exercise is really basic for strengthening the lower back, and it's a basic squat.
A basic
We're gonna have to turn a little bit at this angle to the camera here. So we're gonna sit back. We're not gonna let the knees go over the ankles there for me. You're gonna lift up your heart there for me. And you're gonna give me a small tuck underneath your tailbone, then you're gonna sit back. And the more you hinge at the hips, the more you feel a little bit of a stretch in your lower back here, just above the glute there, the glute medius. And then we're gonna come up and squeeze the glute there. And you wanna tuck in your belly button, squeeze the glute and sit back.
And is that what you should be maintaining throughout the movement?
The key is what you should be maintaining is a straight spine. So if you look from my angle here, if you wanna know how you can straighten your spine, you can push your tailbone out, then you can tuck it under, and then I want you to place your tailbone in the middle of those two extremes. So push it out, almost like you're twerking, and then bring it in, and then push it out, and then keep it in the center of those two movements.
You know, yeah, you kind of feel where that middle ground
Yeah,
is.
it's more comfortable, it's less strain on the lower back, but you're stretching out through the glutes there. So this is a great one. A tip often is if you really tighten the quad, really tighten the glutes or lower back, sometimes the knees will go forward and the weight will go into the forefoot. So keep your heels grounded, hinge in the hips, and then focus on straightening out the spine by, once again, tucking under, pushing back, and then finding the center between those two movements, keeping the spine nice and straight. So that's a nice one, especially when you have a barbell on your shoulders. When you're doing those squats, you want to maintain, and you don't want to lean into one side more than the other side, which is often where back pain comes from. So maybe you're strong in your right leg, so when you do your squats, you lean more into your right side.
Try and
then stick
maintain that
away from the
center.
left side. So you have to maintain that center. A way you can kind of try to see which is your weaker side is just by lifting one leg, maybe the right leg, and then put it down. Lifting the left leg and see which side takes a little bit more effort and which side the hip lifts up more.
Okay.
The side where the hip lifts up more, the shoulders lean a bit more, that's the side you need to stabilize and
So
strengthen.
I think by that, I think my left leg is my strongest, which is
Left
usually,
leg.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a cool way. We can move on to the next exercise. We're going to be on our hands and knees. This is a nice one here. You can use weights for this one. We're going to extend the right hand forward, left leg back. We're going to keep that back nice and strong, nice and flat. Belly button in. We're not going to lift up that left hip, so we're going to leave the left hip, bring it down in line with the right hip. So you're kind of squeezing, rolling the inner thighs together there for me. Shoulders next to one another here as well. You can keep a dumbbell in your right hand if you have one at home.
Ooh.
There we go, core. This is a nice core strengthener.
Yeah.
As you know, a good way to get rid of some of your back pain is to strengthen your core. And then you do the other side. The more you strengthen the core, the more support your back has, especially the lower back there. And then we can bring it down. So that's a nice, easy one if you want to do it with body weight. If you want to take it one step further and really work on having a nice flat back here, you lift up the knees and then you straighten out.
Oh, there we go.
Now we're talking.
Hello.
Still keeping those hips next to one another and shoulders. Let's do the other side.
All right.
The seaweed side is weaker.
While we carry on strengthening our lower backs, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back.
And release.
On your good breakfast. Oh, that's it. Whoa. I felt that one.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us, you beauties. We continue a very important discussion, I'm realizing even more important than I knew coming into this, about rare diseases with Marianne Gomez from Rare Disease South Africa, Savannah and little Luna, a bit of a scene stealer, Funneveld, to a first-hand experience of rare diseases. Likewise, Kate Bosch, who has taken that condition and turned it into her life's calling as a speech therapist. Now, since its creation in 2008, Rare Disease Day has played a critical role in building an international rare disease community, a network that is multi-disease, global and diverse, but united in purpose. And that's why we are here. There's our purpose. And I don't think it's impossible to translate to a child how they become a parent's purpose. Everything is woven into that, even your genes. How did your mind deal with the fact that this is a genetic disease that you've passed on and it's never going away? How have you come to terms with where you are?
So with Prader-Willi syndrome, it is not inherited. It is just by luck well, not by luck, it's unlucky.
Yeah.
And it's just a random act of genetics.
Right.
So the 15th chromosome is actually deleted from the paternal side. And, you know, it is hard because there isn't a cure for Prader-Willi, which is really sad. And I think one of the most challenging things for us, and even in South Africa, is that the government doesn't fund growth hormone treatment, and neither does the medical aids. And it's so imperative for them to have growth hormone treatment, to grow, to have muscle tone, to be stronger, and to just essentially develop. So that's one of the biggest challenges, and it's hard to accept.
I want you, when you look into camera, you can say maybe we need a bit of a shift in our thinking, and people need to see that. What's the battle line here? What do we need to do on this rare disease day? What do you think is the most important mandate?
So I just wanted to follow in from what Savannah said, and part of what rare diseases does is what we do is we advocate for treatment. So it's actually, it's part of what we do. So there's a lot of things that we do, and we have these sort of 4 pillars at rare diseases, focusing on advocacy and patient engagement and community engagement and helping patients navigate their diagnosis. So I think what we really want to do for this Rare Disease Day is just to build awareness, just to know that individually these diseases or these conditions may be rare, but together they're actually very common. So that 1 in 15, if you think about a rugby team, you've got 15 players on the field, one of them, essentially, will have a rare disease. So someone you know is almost guaranteed
Everyone is
to have a
affected
rare
by it,
disease.
by
Yeah,
it.
you may not know about it, but yeah, it's definitely. So it affects so many people. We really need to create the awareness just about who we are and what can happen and what we can do and how we can help you, actually.
And that's exactly what I was going to say, because I think people forget about it. We work with kids, especially children, in this space, and it almost feels the most important part of that is for a family going through this to have some kind of structure to plug into, a parent to talk to who's been through this. How important is it to have that structure? What was the turning point for you, Amy Kate? How have you been able to manage this and build a successful life despite, I'm sure, the many challenges that people told you were in front of you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think back to when I was first diagnosed, my parents were told that I had 6 months to live. And back in 1996, there was a little paragraph in a textbook on Gaucher's disease, and that was it, and they said, that's all we know. So my parents had to reach out to America to try and get information and to get some hope. I think as a parent, when you get a diagnosis like that for your child, it is extremely challenging because nobody wants to hear that, and you will find every fiber in your being to fight and to find a way to save your child. And I think my parents did that, and with everything, I was told I would never play sport, I would never do this, I would never do that. And I kind of wanted to beat the odds. I proved that I could go to university, I proved that I could get a degree, and to be able then to help other patients. I think that was my way to almost pay it forward, or to say thank you to those that did believe in me.
You're getting a round of applause. I think we can all continue that round of applause.
I see that.
I absolutely love that. I'm going to ask you to think about that mantra. If you could distill what you say to yourself every day in those moments, because I've been through some challenges, nothing quite like this when it comes to my children, but we are blessed by virtue of the fact that, as you quite rightly put, Amy K, we will do anything for our kids.
Yeah.
But I think there are a lot of people who are now listening, and I hope within the medical fraternity, because I have a feeling this is about that, connections, community, strategic network, so we can put pressure on the right people. If you've got any questions, 063-408-8863.
All right, we're in the kitchen ready to inspire you on this Tuesday morning, and we're making a very popular Korean dish known as kimchi jeon or kimchi buchimgae. And it's a Korean savory pancake that can be enjoyed as an appetizer or a light meal. And these flavor-packed pancakes are super tasty and easy to make as well. And we're elevating it by serving it with some classic roasted duck. And this dish will undoubtedly slap with flavor. Michaela's here in the kitchen. How was my Korean pronunciation of the dish? Did
It was good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Whew. Because when you went, I thought I butchered it.
When you said the second part, I was like, oh.
Hey, hey! I've been to Seoul, you know. I've walked the streets. I've walked these streets. Okay.
Nice.
Get me into this recipe since we are
Okey-dokes.
celebrating all things pancakes today.
Yeah, pancakes. I love pancakes.
Do you?
Yeah. Do you not love pancakes?
I absolutely do. How do you prefer yours?
Taiwanese style with green chives, and they're crispy. But
Savory pancakes.
savory pancakes,
Wow,
are boss.
that's a thing. Okay. So you've got
These are
some
savory.
some flour, and what did you add to it?
Yes, so we have some, you can either use rice flour or potato starch. So we have some rice flour over here. And we already have our pre-roasted duck. You just want to take 2 legs with the thighs, score them, roast them in the oven with some coarse salt, and then shred them afterwards.
So nothing too complicated. That's the easy
not
part.
at all. Then we have a bit of sugar, just to add some contrast to the savory. We just have a
Right.
bit of salt, and we have some baking powder. Good. Just mix all
easy
your
as
dry
that?
together. Yes.
And
And
then-
then we have kimchi.
Kimchi.
Ho ho. Do you like kimchi?
Listen, so
A lot of people don't.
yeah, when I had it in Seoul, it was more of a culinary experience, a new taste.
Yes.
Not sure if I'm a big fan and would have it like regularly, right?
It's like a lot of people don't like sauerkraut either. It's like on
Yeah.
that verge of fermented food.
Exactly. It's just
Yeah.
not my vibe.
So we have our kimchi, some gochujang, some fish sauce.
What is gochujang?
Gochujang is, so gochu are chilies and then gochu paste. So it's chili paste.
Chili paste.
Yeah.
Gochujang.
Exactly.
Got it there.
So, ooh, I'm
There we go.
missing.
By the
But
way,
you-
kimchi, is that difficult to make?
It is actually quite a process. If you do it the traditional way, it takes a lot of time. You have to, prep your cabbage.
Yes.
So you have to soak it in a lot of salt to break down the structure of it, just to get it a bit more crisp, I guess.
Yes.
And then you ferment it for at least a week.
A week. Okay, what are the core ingredients of kimchi? You said salt, cabbage. Oh, cabbage is the main one, then salt.
A lot of garlic,
Lots
ginger,
of garlic, ginger,
then some spring onion.
spring onion.
Then you also use a lot of chili flakes.
Okay, and then you just let it sit there for as long as
Let it
possible.
Ferment for a long time. I think some people add fish sauce.
Okay, okay.
But don't quote me because I'm not trying to ruin Korean
Family
culture.
traditions. But of course, so once you've made it, how long can it sit there?
It can last for up to a year, but I don't think, or actually even longer. It just gets better the more you allow it to ferment.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So pancakes on the pan.
It's going.
It's gonna
We're
go.
just gonna keep letting that sit. Then we should
once
make a
it's done,
bigger one.
This is what we're looking for, right? Something
Yes.
along the lines of this. And then to this, are we gonna add the duck? Okay, I'm gonna let
Yes.
you do the assembly here because I fear I might just make a huge mess of
actually, no, let's let you do it.
it.
Okay, so take your mayo, use that as your base first, and get it on down there.
It was just not cooperating at first. Can I go here?
Yes. Oh, look at that stream you have going on there.
Hey!
Done.
Very happy mayo.
Then add your duck.
Gonna add some duck.
Nice.
Are we adding it to the one side so we can roll it?
I was just gonna do
You know what, let me
taco
not make it too
style, but
complicated
yeah,
like
do
that.
it that way. Don't overthink it.
Healthy portion. And then we're gonna add a little bit more of this
Kimchi.
kimchi, right?
100%.
More kimchi. More kimchi.
More kimchi, more better.
Let's let that marinate for a little bit. Let it ferment for a while, see how it catches on. Oh, my goodness. Okay, just like that. Get it in there. And then the rolling technique. Let me see what the end product looks like. Okay, it's rolled nicely. I'm gonna start on the meaty side. Oh, I think I might have overdone it.
Can you overdo it?
Possibly. Do I have something to hold it down? But this looks really good. No, I think I did
Just
well.
keep rolling it until the open side is at the bottom.
Yes.
There we go.
Look at that.
Look at that, it's perfect.
Where's my... Give me this. Presentation is important.
Ooh, lovely.
Thing. That roasted duck. Whoa, it bangs.
Ho ho.
All right. Check out the recipe on the website.
Nice.
Expressoshow.com. All kinds of things. Pancakes today. The first of
Delish.
which, a beautiful
Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it dialed in as we continue this vitally important discussion. Marianne Gomez from Rare Disease South Africa, Savannah, and little Luna van der Walt, who have first-hand experience of rare diseases. Likewise, Amy Kate Bosch, who has turned her own condition into her life path, in fact, and is now a speech therapist and working in that space. It sounds like very successfully. And we are still wrapping up now our conversation around rare diseases. And of course, we had asked you guys to weigh in if you had any questions or comments, and it sounds like you have. So let's hear from you.
Hi, good morning, Expresso. So I just wanted to know if sickle cell anemia is one of the rare diseases.
Sickle anemia.
Sickle cell anemia.
Sickle cell anemia.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Buddy, you got your answer.
Not so rare in Central Africa
Okay.
because of malaria. So there's almost like a protective effect if you are what we call a carrier of sickle cell anemia. You don't have it, but you carry it.
Okay.
It's a little bit more complex, but anyway.
So
But yeah, by all means, please get in touch with us if you want to learn more. I'm a genetic counselor, so that's completely in my sphere,
That's
so to speak.
So you're definitely the right
Definitely
person.
the right
yeah,
person
no,
to
I
talk
absolutely
to.
love that. And we'll keep your details up
Perfect.
for the rest
Yeah,
of this
that'd be
week
great.
so that people can connect. We've got one more voice note to squeeze in.
Good morning. I would just like to know what you can tell me about Ewing sarcoma. It's a rare type of bone cancer. I was diagnosed last year, end October, and I'm currently undergoing treatment, but I don't know very much about the disease, the type of cancer yet.
Obviously, I know this falls outside of your specialization.
But I still think that it would be important to get in touch, and then we can have a discussion about, let's connect and have a chat about what the condition is. And
Because I'm starting to feel that the right now, the battle line is almost more about that, about the connection and just speaking to someone so you can
Yes.
find out. I'm sure the three of you feel like you have advanced medical degrees because of how much you've had to learn through this process. And it's like this with every parent I speak to whose child is going through something, or every patient who's been through this lifelong journey. And trust me, no one has thought about it more than you. I think that's the crazy thing, because this is always there in your mind. That being said, what goes through your mind? What is that mantra? What do you tell yourself in the morning when you've got to put your shoes on, put your big girl pants on and get out there and do it? What is your mantra?
I would like to actually speak to anybody who's got a kid with a rare disease and just say to them, well, not to pull hair, but that find the purpose for this journey, find the why, and never give up hope. These children are amazing. I mean, Luna has surprised us like you cannot believe, and she has conquered many mountains, and she's still moving mountains, and she inspires so many people. So find that purpose in your journey and educate other people, educate them, push forward, inspire, because someone out there is struggling and you don't know what something small could do for that person.
And when it comes to babies and now children, it's all relative.
Yes.
Doesn't matter who you are, it's going to hit, it's
Or
going to
what
touch you.
journey you're walking,
So I'm trying to look at the lines of chalk that you've drawn on the wall since that 6 months passed that you were only supposed to have to where you sit right now, looking at what you've achieved. What did you tell yourself during the tough times? Because as much as you've got a support structure, to get to where you are, to show this kind of mental and physical strength to get there, you got some guts. Where did that come from? What do you tell yourself when the times are hard?
For me, I think I'm very lucky in that my parents were very good role models to me in the fight. Going through a childhood, your adolescence, and then your varsity years has been challenging because people kind of hear that you've got a rare disease and it's like that kind of shocked reaction. But you have to tell yourself that you have to keep going. You have a reason to get up. You're on this earth for a reason. So I think it's just to be able to advocate for yourself as much as possible. For me, to be able to tell other people about my rare disease and about other rare diseases is so important, because that person is then going to go to the next person and say, wow, I just heard about this disease. and the message is going to spread. And the more awareness we create, I think is so important, because that's when the big key opinion leaders are going to hear it, the government's going to hear it, our medical insurances are going to hear it. And I think for all of us, our biggest struggle is getting access to treatment. So we can be inspirational, we can be strong, but if we don't have the therapies and the treatments and things that we need, it's going to make life a lot harder for us.
You become a statistic. You become a number again, and we lose sight of the human story.
So I think for all the patients out there, I mean, if there's one thing you can do to be strong, is to advocate for yourself. Like that, learn about your condition and tell others about it. It's really, really important.
And if you need your reason, look, Luna, you're a superstar. In fact, you're the best behaved guest we've ever had on this show, which of course now I've jinxed it completely, so she's going to have a meltdown in 3, 2, 1. No, you've been amazing. Guys, thank you so much for the work that you do every day. You are brave and courageous and so knowledgeable, which speaks to what we need to do here. Spread the word. Please connect. If you are going through this journey right now, there is a community ready to speak, but especially if you think that you can influence this situation positively, please stand up and do it now.
Oh, brilliant stuff, inspiring stuff indeed. Now, on the topic of health, let's now turn our attention to our healthcare professionals. Of course, pharmacists are not only brave, but they inspire hope within their very own communities. And that's why we have Pharmacy of the Week. It's a short feature acknowledging our incredible pharmacists, and it's our way of saying thank you to these brave healthcare workers. And it's proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. So let's take a look at this week's Pharmacy of the Week, Hoppy's Family Pharmacy, all the way in Springs.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
So becoming a pharmacist was in my blood. It's a tradition. My father's a pharmacist, my sister's a pharmacist, and we enjoy serving the people, and that's why we got a community pharmacy. We are born in the Springs, raised in Springs, so giving back to the community is what we like to do. Pharmacy initiotherapy is quite important. Pharmacy is the first point of healthcare, and if our pharmacists and pharmacy assistants are well equipped and have the knowledge, then they can initiate therapy with the patient and follow up with them without them having to go to another healthcare professional. Adcock OTC, part of the Brave campaign, have basically supported us throughout the pandemic, be it with masks. They brought us, because we were facing the pandemic, they brought us masks, they brought us shields. They've helped us in the economic tough times as well, with branding, getting the products out there, and I mean, the jackets, the jerseys, they played their part in giving the pharmacies back, who in turn give the community. So they've showed us a big thank you, and in turn we support them by buying their products and giving their products out there.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave, inspiring communities one pharmacy at a time.
Good times is what life is all about. But sometimes heartburn, indigestion, acid reflux and UTIs can really put a dampener on our days. This summer, make sure you have citrus soda as your good health companion, relieving you of all heartburn, indigestion and UTI symptoms. Let's get back to feeling good. Citrus soda brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Well, a big thank you to all of our local pharmacies doing amazing things for our communities. We really do appreciate you.
Hey, what's that?
This is Octifex, a new accessible platform to trade Forex on global markets.
Cool. What's the Forex?
It's short for foreign exchange, trading currencies.
Buy low, sell high. Score points, right?
Exactly.
What's leverage?
It's like you got cool friends. They vouch for you, and you can trade it big.
Precisely.
So basically it's an app where you learn and trade, and it's safe, and it looks good.
That about sums it up here. Octifex, trading made clear.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's a Tuesday morning. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Now, there's nothing more special to us than hearing a story of local discovery, and our next guests are the example of that. Today, we bring you a group of talented young men along with their teacher who saw something special in them. Let's welcome teacher Cindy Peterson and vocalist Manuel Monjani. A round of applause, please. Come on, Expresso. Come on. Great to have you guys here. And I know you're a bit nervous, buddy, but please don't be. This, I said to you just now, this is your preparation for that speech you're going to make at the Grammys one day, right? Yeah. When you're accepting the Grammy. But Cindy, I've got to just say, well done on seeing talent and finding a way for it to make its way to the stage. What is it about these young men, when you saw them do what they do, that made you go, wait, there's something really special here?
Well, I must not take full credit. They had a very good music teacher, Miss Adams, before the time. But when I started at the school, it was my very, very first day. And I started towards the end of the year. So, you know, it takes a while for students to adjust to a new teacher. And right after my first, introduction with them, they asked if they could sing for me. And I was sure, not a problem. And then they performed, and I immediately got goosebumps, and that's when I knew I'm not going to leave it just there.
Yeah, no, so clearly Sonaker High School is a very good breeding ground for talent and great friendships that blossom into something like
Definitely.
this. So Manuel,
yes.
You and the boys, how did this all happen?
When I was in grade 8, on Valentine's Day, I sang Grenade by Bruno Mars, and Lucian here over here, he noticed me, and he told me that he could play piano. They was like, oh wow, okay, one day we can maybe do something. Then later in the year, Narcissus came along. He wants to play. He has a passion to play guitar. And then and then from there on we stayed together and we kept up.
You kept up and you kept going, and look at what it's doing right now. You're on national TV. There's a video that you recorded that is going absolutely viral and insane. Take a look at this if you haven't seen it yet at home.
It's you on your side of the bed.
What?
Still got your things here. They're staring me like souvenirs.
Brother, just here. Don't leave me hanging. It's you let me hanging. But listen, that's incredible, man. So how much time do you guys spend doing this kind of, sitting in your musical space and really cultivating that culture between you?
Every time in school, every break, we have meetings, me and him, especially because he brings his guitar every day to school. So we sing for the people when they request songs, and yeah.
Dude, I wish I was in school when you guys were there. I mean, that would have made breaks so much more fun. But listen, as you can see, clearly these guys will be fetching their own headlines one day, and we cannot wait to hear you performing and to meet the rest of the band as well. But speaking of headlines, it's time for us to really check in on the news headlines of the day. Graham has the latest.
Thank you so much. Yes, we're reversing all the roles today, and we love it. Let's start with our national news first. The Department of Cooperative Government and Traditional Affairs says private households and businesses cannot yet apply for financial assistance after floods caused widespread damage in the past weeks, as you've seen. On the show, President Cyril Ramaphosa declared a state of disaster last week to enable faster intervention and support for those affected. Some 10 people have died in floods in the Eastern Cape, Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal and Mpumalanga. The spokesperson for the department, Lungi Mchali, says the Treasury has not yet allocated money for the disaster and is still taking stock of damage. And staying in South Africa, Eskom says due to the high number of generation unit breakdowns, there is a possibility of further changes to the rolling blackout stages at short notice. It's been implementing stage 6 since Sunday night, and this will continue until further notice. But the power utility says it should have a reliable amount of diesel supplies going forward, thanks to loan guarantees from the National Treasury, and hopes to reduce load shedding to stage 4 by Thursday. Eskom uses diesel to power turbines, which act as a backup to its coal-fire-powered stations. Then, casting a wider gaze now on the international front, US President Joe Biden has announced additional military assistance for Ukraine during a surprise visit to Kiev. Now, this is Biden's first visit to Ukraine since the beginning of the Russian invasion, which started almost a year ago this Friday. Biden told President Volodymyr Zelensky that America would continue to support Ukraine for as long as necessary. Biden's now expected to be heading to Poland for further diplomatic talks there. And an aide to Polish President Andrzej Duda says that Biden's visit to Kiev shows the US is determined to continue to support the Ukraine. Then bringing it a little closer to home, but a slightly alarming finding. Kenyan researchers have detected a mosquito native to South Asia that's resistant to insecticides used in Africa. So experts from Kenya's Medical Research Institute identified the mosquito during a routine surveillance in Marsabit County. Now, data from hospitals there in that area also showed an increase in malaria cases. And even though it wasn't the normal season for this disease, this mosquito can now thrive in both dry and rainy seasons and breed anywhere. Experts are obviously concerned that malaria transmission will now continue all year round instead of being seasonal, where it's a lot easier to control. Now, he ain't nothing but a round hog. Police in Anchorage in Alaska rescued a pet porker named Elvis Pigsley from a frosty roadside after an onlooker reported that the critter looked cold. Understandably, it wasn't immediately clear how he went on the loose, but officers said they loaded the shivering swine into their police car and, well, brought home the bacon, literally. As it turns out, the portly fellow was quite friendly. You'll be happy to know that he has been reunited with his family and all is well. And he's not actually bacon. We're all familiar with refrigerated bacon. We just never thought we'd respond to a call for service related to that topic in this way. The Anchorage Police Department wrote in a Facebook post showing the day. So observers squealed with glee over an adorable photo showing Elvis poking his adorable pink snout out of the window of the police vehicle. And we quote again, "Glad the cold porker made it home." One local wrote on the Facebook page, while the nearby Homer Police Department quipped, "Hogwash was a ham bush." Well, that's enough pig puns for one story. But a great way to end our news headlines. Let's get into the sport.
Well, great news for India as they now have qualified for the Women's T20 World Cup semi-finals with a 5-run Duckworth-Lewis Stern win over Ireland in the rain-curtailed match that took place. Ireland were 54 for 2 in the 9th over, chasing 156 when heavy rain forced an early end to the match. Now, the win means India join England in qualifying from Group 2. Smriti Madana had earlier survived being dropped 4 times to hit a career-best 87 from 56 balls. In footballing news, Liverpool's owner John Henry says he is not selling the club, but he expects there to be some investment in the Anfield side. Henry's Fenway Sports Group, which bought Liverpool back in 2010, said it would consider new shareholders in the Reds in November. FSG chairman Tom Werner later then said that the club's owners were, quote, exploring a sale. But since then, in an interview with the Boston Sports Journal, Henry said, "Are we selling LFC? No." So good news there for the Reds, I guess. On the tennis front, Novak Djokovic has equaled Steffi Graf's record for the most weeks as world #1 after starting his 377th week at the top of the men's rankings. The 35-year-old Serb has held the record for the most weeks as men's world #1 since March of 2021. Now, on Monday, he moved level with Germany's Graf, who first rose to the top of the women's rankings in 1987. Djokovic first became world #1 in 2011, and like Graf, is a 22-time Grand Slam champion. And then finally, in Formula One news, Lance Stroll is set to miss this week's pre-season test after suffering minor injuries in a cycling accident. Aston Martin have not yet decided how to cover his absence over the 3 days in Bahrain starting on Thursday. Stroll's injuries mean there is a risk he could miss the opening race weekend at the same track between the 3rd and 5th of March. Now, they can choose from either Stoffel van Doorn, the reigning Formula E champion, or Felipe Drogovic, who is the reigning Formula 2 champion, who would then be a rookie if he raced. That's the latest news from the sporting world. Right now, let's get you prepped for work and for school. Here's news from the traffic.
Thanks so much, Kat. Let's take a look at the road. Starting in Strandfontein in Cape Town, there is sand and sea debris along the roadway of Baden-Powell Drive. Please drive very carefully along that route this morning, quite treacherous. Moving up to Benoni, the East Rand in Johannesburg, there's been a multi-vehicle accident on the N12 westbound. That's after the Atlas Road. The right lane is closed and there is very slow-moving traffic, obviously, so just please be safe out there. That's a wrap of the traffic. Let's get into the weather. So we start with a global weather perspective first, and awful news to report on. At least 36 people have now died in flooding and landslides in Brazil's Sao Paulo state, and dozens are still missing. Now, rescue workers hope to pull some of those trapped in the flooded homes out of mud alive. Videos showed neighborhoods underwater and inundated motorways after houses were literally swept away. In the coastal town of São Sebastião, 627 millimeters of rain fell in just 24 hours. Now, some 50 houses that collapsed were washed away. At least 35 deaths have been reported in São Sebastião and Ubatuba, and including, tragically, a 7-year-old girl has died when a huge boulder hit her home. Now, colourful carnival events were obviously cancelled in parts along the coastline, which are popular destinations for wealthy tourists, obviously looking to avoid huge street-side festivities in major cities. President Lula da Silva is set to visit the affected areas soon, but those visuals speak volumes. Now, extreme weather events in Brazil are expected to become more common as the impacts of climate change take hold. Now, last year, torrential rain in the city of Petrópolis killed some 230 people. That's where we leave our weather news. Let's get into some weather perspectives of how you start your day. And we've got Joey Peterson capturing a beautiful view over the ocean in Mhlanga Rocks. The pinks are glowing up the sky, one of my favorite spots in the world. Then we've got Nancy Govender, our regular, doing what she does, taking a stroll in Pennington, and she shared this lovely view of the soft sand she's walking on right now, enjoying her daily stroll. Just squeeze your toes in the sand for us. And Bradley in Umhloti Beach sent a view of the waves gently crashing up this stunning morning. And then we've got Niklas Meyer in Hartenborst rather, sharing another flawless view of the fluffy clouds while he enjoys some hot coffee. Wow, your composition today, guys, has been amazing. The colors, the contrast, absolutely exquisite. Keep them coming. Share those sunrise views, 063-408-8863. All right, brand new day, brand new temperatures. Let's see where you stand. If you're in Polokwane, you kickstart your day on 16 with a high of 31. In Bombela, rain expected, your low 17 going up to 31. Pretoria, 15, your low going up to 29 degrees. Johannesburg, 12 and 26 your range. Mahikeng, 13 and 29. Klerksdorp, you start on 11 degrees going up to 28. Kimberley, 12 and 28 degrees. Bloemfontein, your low 8 going up to 26 degrees. Expect some rain in Richards Bay, where your low is 19 going up to 25. Pietermaritzburg, chance of rain there as well. 14 is your minimum, going to a max of 21. Durban, 19 and 24. Mthatha, 12 and 24 your temperature range for the day. East London, your low 15 going up to 22. Cradock, your low 9 going up to 27. Then a 40% chance of rain in Gqeberha, where you start your day on 13 going up to 21 degrees. George, 11 and 21. Cape Town, 15 your low going up to 20. Worcester, 12 and 25. Sutherland, your low 7 going up to 22 degrees. And Uppington, I know we keep rubbing it in, but it's a moderate day for you. 16 is your low going up to 30, which I'm sure is still going to feel pretty hot. So stay out of the sun in those peak hours, and most importantly, please, with the inclement weather, just drive carefully on your way into work this morning. And if you're sticking around, oh, good idea, because we've got something special just for you.
Absolutely, we do. Earlier on, we had the honor and the privilege of meeting frontman, if you will, Manuel Munjani. And now we get to see what he does with his crew, Lucian and Naseen also on the guitar over here. And together they're known as the Brown Brick Boys. And they're about to show us what they're all about, performing Billie Eilish's Lovely. Take it away.
Found a way out, but you never go away. So I guess I've gotta stay now. Oh, I know someday I'll make it out of here, even if it takes all night or 100 years. Need a place to hide, but I outside. I can't find my face. Hey, isn't it lovely? Alone, heart made of glass, my mind of stone. Tear me to pieces, skin and bones. Hello, welcome home. Walking out of time, looking for a better place. Something's on my mind, always in my headspace. But I know someday I'll make it out of here, even if it takes all night or 100 years. Need a place to hide, but I can't find one there. Wanna feel alive outside. I can't find my face. Hey, isn't it lovely? All alone, heart made of glass, my mind of stone. Tear me to pieces, skin and bones. Hello, welcome home. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hello, welcome home.
Let's go, boys. Let's go. I got to touch my blood, man. That's amazing. Oh, my goodness. They go by the name the Brown Brick Boys. Absolutely incredible. How did that feel? I know you said that you were nervous. This was your first time performing on national TV. How did it feel?
Felt relieving.
Yeah?
Just after singing, all the nerves go away.
There we go, man. You delivered a beautiful, beautiful performance. So much heart in it. Really, really appreciate you, and I hope that you enjoyed it at home. In fact, we are celebrating local talent. So look around your community. You know who are the talented people that you celebrate, that you brag about, that rep your city or your community. Let us know about them. Send us your voice notes to 063-408-8863. And of course, you bet we'll have more performances from the Brown Brick Boys on this Tuesday morning on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We'll be right back. Very well done, man.
It's The Crush. Unlock your 100% TV show. Catch all the excitement as we unlock Crush fans' full potential to live their dreams. Watch the show on SABC2 starting on the 1st of February every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Plus, you stand a chance to win your share of thousands of prizes. Simply buy any Crush and follow the pack for entry details. Crush. 100% goodness.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
The Nedbank and Old Mutual Budget Speech Competition, empowering Africa's future leaders.
Welcome back. Let's inspire you this morning. Every year, Nedbank and Old Mutual jointly sponsor the Budget Speech Competition, which seeks to uncover the brightest and most insightful future economic leaders in South Africa. And boy, aren't we going to need them. The competition challenges undergraduates and postgraduate economics students from tertiary institutions across the country to research and explore complex economic scenarios, which ours is. The world is probably caught there right now. And this year, the competition offers a total of 420,000 Rand in prize money. And we are delighted to have one of this year's undergraduate finalists in studio. Please welcome Leela Lint Deva from the University of the Witwatersrand, my own stomping ground. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I don't want to jinx it by giving you an applause yet, because we want you to follow through and seal the deal. But well done for making it through. In past experience with this amazing project, I know the quality of the entrance. And normally you'd be the economic one competing against other people. Now it's all economics kind of focused people. How does it feel to be sitting here on live TV talking your country's economics?
You know, I think it is definitely a pinch me moment. I'm from Joburg, like you said, and we arrived in Cape Town yesterday, and even just that was incredible. When I started my degree, I would never think that at the end of it, I would be within this competition and here in Cape Town in the finals. So it's been incredible.
No, well done. And you've obviously earned the right to be here. And it's part of your life path now, because you should be able to come up with these wonderful economic solutions to complex problems, because that's your degree, okay? But it's a different thing when you've got to kind of step up in this scenario. What prompted you to do that? Was it a dare? Was it a challenge? Do you want to save the country? What's motivating you?
You know, I am a student from the University of Witwatersrand, and we have incredible lectures in our economics department, and they almost dedicated an entire lecture to tell us about how prestigious this competition is and what an incredible opportunity it is to enter, regardless of the prize money that we can use for further education, which we all know is not cheap.
You can stop there. That's enough, actually.
That's enough, but the opportunity to come to Cape Town, the opportunity to network with Nedbank executives, you know, that doesn't come around often, especially going into the world of work straight from university, and that enough was to write the essay, to enter it. They obviously encouraged us to write the essay. We had to write it for 4 marks, and the essay was written. So
and well done, because a strategic network now more than ever is so important. And Nedbank love people, hey? They might be a bank, but they dig the people. And I've watched people climb that ladder. So hopefully that little seed has been planted there. But let's get into the thrust of the essay that you wrote. I mean, you know, I joke about you saving the world, but you pretty much had to save South Africa and come up with solutions in our context. In fact, you had to look at the prospects for economic growth in South Africa over the medium term, and then look at those pertinent factors influencing growth. So what was the thrust? Was there an angle? How did you approach this one?
Well, you see, you emphasized the term medium term, and that is 5 to 10 years. So all of a sudden you're constrained to this time period, and economically speaking, that puts you into certain boxes. So my focus was investment, and investment in labor and absorbing industries. We all know unemployment is a huge problem in our country. And investment in infrastructure, the main one being electricity supplies.
100%. I was going to ask you to, well, that is the newsmaker of the year,
Yes.
is Eskom and the electricity supply. But if you could talk about those major industries, where would you be putting your investment right now?
Right now, I would actually be putting money into agriculture, agri-processing. Those are hugely labor-absorbing.
Especially in the context of
Manufacturing,
South Africa.
especially in the context of South Africa. And also energy. There's no surprise that we are both rich in non-renewable and renewable resources. And the green transition is happening, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be at the front of it.
Yeah, I think the text there, we just need the custodians of the system that follows it, and I think we're in good hands. So thank you so much. Where do you want to go? What's the ideal job?
Do you know, I would love to one day end up in policy. I think that's where you can make the most impact, especially in this country. And however I get there, I'm not entirely sure. Economics is interesting in that it's not a specific career path. but also that's quite exciting. So.
Yeah. Well, South Africa's battle is a socio-economic battle, so
Exactly.
you're the right person to do it. I love you, girl. Woo, change the world. Good luck to you and all of the entrants. I know the caliber is extremely high this year, but what I love is you're coming up with real solutions for real problems. So thank you so much for applying your great mind to that. This is giving me the buzz I need this morning. Go and take that first prize, eh?
Thank you
Over
so
400
much.
grand. Come on, go and do it. If you want to find out more about the Nedbank and Old Mutual Budget Speech Competition, you can visit budgetspeechcompetition.co.za, but we'll keep those details up. Well done and good luck.
Thank you so much.
The Nedbank and Old Mutual Budget Speech Competition, empowering Africa's future leaders.
Shame. Kat is so confused this morning. We bewildered him with two amazing looks. So we had to turn to you, the real experts when it comes to style, to choose between these two classic looks. They look great, but it's time for him to change out of being just a Bond villain, okay, to becoming the best Bond villain we've ever seen. So option one was a versatile, trendy grey check coat, which I love, and I know Kat would have digged that as well, I think. Then option two was a classic winter single-breast, slim-fit coat in camel colour. I love that. So let's take a look at what you guys were pointing towards. Both great. And Shireen Abrams. Morning, Shireen. Great to hear from you. Kat and the team, happy Tuesday. Choose number two. It would complement what you're wearing. Have a super day, team. Lots of love. Right back at you. Cecilia May saying, good morning. My choice for Kat is option two. Classic. Never goes out of style. I hear you. Let's see if we can squeeze in a few more. Teresa Maker saying option two will look great on you. All right, slow down, girl. Slow down, okay? You don't get to go on a date with him when he's wearing the jacket, okay? Well, you can ask. Moira Capito saying good morning. I think Kat should go with option two. Blessed day, guys. Blessed day to you as well. Mkleba saying good morning, Kat. Option two, what you're wearing, it'll complement that. Option two, it'll blend well and create monochrome look. You know too much. You know too much. And now you're going to get to see too much. Because here he is. Wow. How you doing?
Mr. Richards, I think the nation called for quintuple chocolate.
Oh.
5 layers
with a caramel.
of the good stuff. With the caramel.
Buddy, you look superb. I had a feeling
feels
the
good.
camel jacket would win because it's such a statement piece. How do you feel?
And this is exactly how I would have paired it as well.
You would have started like this.
You know, going out with it being a bit of, you know, chills outside. You want to maybe just button it up a little bit. And then, you know, just when you get into the office.
And you know what I like about this? You know, they talk about the tones, but sticking to a kind of one colour palette. Little pop of silver there. Beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Love it.
What do you think, South Africa? You like it?
Y'all done well. Congratulations. Woolies has got you covered for those cooler days as well, so you can shop this amazing look and all those winter staples available in-store, online, or on the app, or a cat if you see him walking down the street.
Chocolate sold separately.
Ooh-wee. Welcome back, you beauties. We are celebrating young talent today, and we've had some amazing performances from 3 youngsters who had to wear their school uniform just to let us know how old and useless we are and how amazing and young they are. The Brown Big Boys, absolutely cool today. But of course, we wanted you to share some of that love and just help us appreciate young talent. Shireen weighing in, awesome performance. I love this song, they're amazing. I agree completely. Then Kwame Fatur had, I think he was hit right in the feels and everywhere else. Take a look at the love that is flowing. Okay, then we've got Colin Patrick saying, you're so talented. Here's Kwame. There we've got emoji. We've got another emoji. Then he loved the song so much, he had to do another emoji. And then he had to do another one. Is that him maybe saying, wishing us a fond farewell? Kwame, right back at you, buddy. Mwah. We love you, guys. We feel the same way. Then we've got Colleen saying, they are so talented. Cecilia say, I have just one word to say. Give that man a contract. Give them all a contract, okay? I don't know if that's one word, okay? But I think we need to drive this point home and just show you how talented these young men are. Let's do it right now, in fact.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. They've moved me, certainly, and I hope that they've done the same for you as well, as we now get the opportunity to meet the man on the keys, Lucian Swanelo. I'll chat to you very shortly, but I first want teacher Cindy Peterson, tell us quickly about how you got to the name Brown Brick Boys. You told me the story behind the scenes, and I think it's one that inspires courage. Tell me about that.
So, bricks, you know, they come from just sand. Also, it's symbolic of the fact that they are the foundation of their own future. You know, you use bricks to build basically any size house. So if they start with the smallest amount of bricks and they might have a small amount of square meters, they can eventually expand into something amazing. And obviously brown bricks, they boys of color, you know, we stand by that all the way. And there's a lot of poetic symbolism in that. Come from humble beginnings.
Yeah, and a lot of love that's flowing in from you at home as well. Lucian, you saw the comments, you saw the emojis.
Yes.
I mean, that must show you the appreciation that you're receiving from the country, and I'm sure it's only going to grow from here onwards. In the dream that you have in your mind right now, where would you love to see the Brown Brick Boys performing?
In the dream, what I'm thinking right now is everywhere.
Yeah.
Any opportunity that could be available, any any chance we could get.
Yeah.
I'm sure we would cherish it because, I mean, the music we make, we as musicians, we feel what we play.
Yes.
And in the same way, I feel what we're feeling, we can convey to someone out there. Because I think each of us have a little story to tell on our own, and we know what we sing. That is why the music we even choose.
Yeah.
We choose it based on what we know we have experienced in our life, and we want to tell others out there.
Yeah.
Whether it's a love song or whether it's a motivational song, we are there to let everyone know you're not alone out there.
Oh,
You are
man.
here.
I love where you're at right now, man. That is absolutely amazing. You can take up your place there at the piano you're about to perform. And Cindy, where would you love to see the boys grow to with this beautiful talent that they have?
You know, Kat, they can go as far as they possibly dream. Honestly, they can. Obviously, I would love for them to pass extremely well. You know, schoolwork is important, but this is their talent, this is their gift, it's their passion. So I would love for them to go wherever their hearts would like to go.
Absolutely. Well, we're about to experience a little bit of that magic right now as they are about to perform a classic, one of Bruno Mars's all-time greatest hits, When I Was Your Man.
Same bed, but it feels just a little bit bigger now. Our song on the radio, but it don't sound the same. When our friends talk about you, all it does is just tear me down. And it hurts me every time when I hear your name, and all just sound like ooh. Too young, too dumb to realize that I should should have brought you flowers and held your hand. Should I give you all my hours and I had the chance? Take it to every party, cause all you wanted to do was dance. Now my baby's dancing, and she's dancing with another man. My pride, my ego, my needs, and my selfish ways. Cause a good, strong woman like you to work on my life. Now I never get to clean up the mess I made. Oh, and it hurts me every time when I close my eyes, and all just sounds like ooh. Too dumb to realize that I should have brought you flowers and held your hand. Should have give you all my hours when I had the chance. Take it to every party, cause all you wanted to do was dance. Now my baby's dancing, and she's dancing with another man. Although it hurts, I'll be the first to say that I was wrong. Oh, I know I'm probably much too late and try to apologize for my mistakes, but I just want you to know I hope he buys you flowers. I hope he holds your hands. He give you all his hours when he has the chance. Take you to every party, cause I remembered how much you love to dance. Do all the things I should have done when I was your man. Do all the things I should have done when I was your man.
Let's go, let's go. Oh man. Ever heard Bruno Mars sing like that before right down there? Beautiful stuff, man. Well done, boys. They call the Brown Brick Boys, all the way from Soneka High School. Young, talented men who are doing it for themselves, really elevating themselves to the status of national fame right now. And I hope that you've been appreciating them as well. And in that same vein, we would love to hear from you about those in your community who are talented, those who you celebrate, those who you want to elevate to national fame. So please let us know about them by sending us your voice notes to 063 408 8863. I think the boys still have one more for us, so make sure that you don't miss out. We'll be right back on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on S3. Thanks for joining us at the start of a brand new day. Now, of course, blood continues to spill in South Africa every day as more than 30 people die due to gun violence. Take that into consideration. Just last week, we were all very saddened by the passing of multi-award-winning musician Keenan, a.k.a. Forbes, and his beloved friend Tebello Motswane, who were brutally gunned down in KZN. And this past weekend, after their heartbreaking memorials and funerals, South Africans and South Africa is calling for tighter gun laws. So joining us this morning to chat more about gun laws and the regulation thereof in South Africa is the head of Legalese Intellectual Property and Entertainment Law, Christian Tabor Rayside, as well as Director of Gun Free SA, Adele Kirsten. Great to have both of you here with us, and a very good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Katle.
Kristen, let me start off with you first by trying to gain a bit more of an understanding on the FCA, or the Firearms Control Act, which does exist in South Africa, and it acts as a mechanism of helping to regulate gun ownership. Tell us a little bit more about it, just to get a broader painted picture.
Sure. So it creates the framework for which you apply for the license so that you can acquire legally firearms. It also creates the consequences for when you don't do so legally. So if we didn't have this piece of legislation, there wouldn't be the system that we understand for the acquisition of firearms, but also the consequences for doing it illegally.
Yeah. Adele, from what you know in terms of the statistics of gun ownership all throughout the country, what are we looking at, and what do things look like right now?
So we have approximately 4.5 million licensed firearms in the country. That includes your private security companies. So our law, and it was one of the changes that was made in 2000, is the security company is registered to own rather than the individual guard. The individual guard, of course, can apply for his own personal sidearm. And so the 4.5 million also includes the state. So there are approximately 3.5 million licensed guns in the hands of civilians. And there are about 1.8 million gun owners, licensed individual civilian gun owners.
Yeah.
So that just gives you a spread. It's a reminder that the majority of us are unarmed.
This is
The
true.
majority of us do not own guns in this country. But that's the kind of broad picture. It's, I guess, the thing that's similar in South Africa to most countries across the world is that our state has less registered guns than civilians. And that's a common feature across the world. The majority of licensed weapons are in the hands of civilians.
Yeah.
And you'll see that here as well in South Africa. Yeah.
And then, Christian, in terms of the FCA itself, or the Firearms Control Act, does it impact only on the ownership of certain types of firearms, or does it regulate firearms in general?
So, I mean, I think what people get confused by is the fact that it doesn't regulate illegal guns, so guns that have left the hands of licensed individuals, right? So the difference between the guns that have been held legally and those illegally, one's outside of the regulated field of the act itself. So I think, it does still affect those that are in the hands of illegal owners, but it's not that it's indirect, it's not having an effect on it, because it's still there, and the way in which it gets to them is still regulated by the legislation. Its indirect effect on it is still regulating it.
Absolutely.
It's still important.
Well, we'll continue our conversation very shortly, and you can send us your thoughts on 063-408-8863. And we'll talk a bit more around issues. I mean, the one question that I want to ask is the systems that have been put in place to police illegal firearms. What do we do, and how do we proceed when somebody is holding an illegal firearm, and you neither know whether they have a license or not, and how do we go about these things? But we'd love to hear from you. 063-408-8863.
I mean, I think that
Well, from an impossible discussion to an impossible recipe. Now, this one is relatively simple, I'm told, and we've got the perfect person to take us through it. Soufflé pancakes are inspired from the flat traditional pancakes that we usually make, know and love, or try to make, at least in my case. These fluffy, pillow-like pancakes with a delicious tiramisu filling will satisfy your sweet tooth. And they're kind of grown up as well. I like that. And to help us bring this masterpiece to life on World Pancake Day, we've got Michaela Thun in the kitchen. whisking your egg yellows.
I was
Are these
breaking them.
a pancake for me, which everyone says is like the easiest thing to make, is near impossible.
Really?
I have collateral damage when I
Do you
make
mess
pancakes.
it up every time?
Every time. It takes me about 10 before I get one that is
And are
presentable.
these like the standard flat South
Yeah,
African
so I
style
like
ones?
the like the crepe vibe, not like
Yes,
the
not
comfort
the
vibe.
flapjack.
Yeah? Well, I like a flapjack. That's all
Okay.
good. But I am loving the souffle vibe here.
Yes.
And this is a little bit different to how you would have done it in the past. So talk us through what's going into your souffle
So
batter.
I'm going really fast because we actually have to try and get one out.
A real one, yeah.
Yes, but we have our flour, baking powder, a lot of milk, sugar. There's some icing sugar in here as well, vanilla, our mama bake, and we just want to mix that together as the base. And with a souffle pancake, you actually need like 2.5 times more egg whites than you usually would use. So if you have 2 egg yolks, you would then use like almost 6 egg whites to try and get it to souffle up. And the key is keep your pan kind of low.
Okay.
And you want it that it has a bit of depth so that you can put a lid on top of it.
So you can keep the
Yeah.
heat in there. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a little hack there, I'm guessing.
So I'm doing it this way around because the bigger bowl had the egg whites in it.
Sure.
But usually you would fold your
Fold the
whites,
egg whites
into...
in.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, you've told me this about 1,000,000 times, but we are folding and not mixing. Why are we doing that?
So that we don't break all the air coming from the egg white.
And that's looking quite fluffy and very much not anything like a
Exactly.
pancake batter.
They were originally from Japan. People came up with like the souffle pancake trend there.
Yeah.
And the reason you use a lid is because you need to steam it because they're more dense.
Okay.
They need a little bit more heat. So you kind of create a steaming environment
It's like
for
a
them.
steamed dumpling vibe coming through there.
Exactly.
Oh, because I absolutely love that texture.
Okie dokie.
Yay.
And let's attempt it. If I mess it up, we're just going to pretend as if I
No, then you
did
can
it.
just blame me because, no, but I always expect, as I said, a little bit of collateral damage when
With the
making
first
pancakes. Oh,
pancake,
for sure.
yeah.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so you let that gorgeous little thing just stew in his own vibes there, and what can we create here?
That's our mascarpone filling. So you have some mascarpone, and you
Okay.
just want to soften that up.
Okay.
You might need to...
Soft, it's doing its thing.
Okay.
Okay, what am I adding?
Some cream. You might at some point just want to up the speed.
I can do it.
Just a little.
There we go. Yeah,
There's
you just
some
want to see
vanilla
the stuff fly
Yeah,
everywhere.
100%.
When I spoke about collateral damage, I didn't mean our cameramen getting covered in batter and vanilla essence. Okay, and then some more sugar going in.
Yes.
And this is obviously forming now the basis for our beautiful tiramisu filling.
Okay.
Oh, that looks
And just
beautiful.
make it a little bit faster, just so
Okay.
it's smooth.
Let's go.
There we go, faster.
Maximum.
Nice. Maximum damage.
Warp speed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. The coffee, I'm not mixing in, so that's going to be drenched over our beautiful souffle pancake.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, yummy.
I'm just giving it a bit more time.
Oh, that is absolutely delicious.
Low and slow so
Low
that they
and
can poof
slow.
up.
And then, of course, you get this beautiful, so for the purposes of TV time, once it comes out, it's obviously going to be a little bit more pillowy, a bit light.
Yes.
And then we round it off with our beautiful, and what I'm loving about that creamy filling there, it's not too much, not
Exactly.
too sweet or too rich, just going to temper that coffee taste absolutely beautifully. Can I have a taste?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Because you gotta.
Oh.
You gotta do it. How's our little guy
Kind
doing?
of getting a bit fatter.
Okay. If you want to recreate these souffle pancakes, which I think you do, you should honor the pancake on World Pancake Day. You can go to expressoshow.com. That is amazing. This is how I'm doing crumpet pancakes forever. Now, absolutely beautiful. A little bit of everything there, not overpowering, absolutely delicious. Head to expressoshow.com to get it for yourself. And we've got one. While we finish dressing this guy up, you can start the process yourself. Bit of sauce.
Sensodyne, repair, and protect with deep repair. The science is pretty amazing. It really goes deep and repairs tooth sensitivity. The science is there. It's going to improve their quality of life in a big way. This is the first thing I recommend.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show. We're back and we're chatting about gun control laws and regulations in South Africa. Now, South Africa has one of the highest murder rates in the world, and violent crime remains shockingly high. Disturbingly, almost 5,000 certified firearms are reported stolen in South Africa every year, which ends up on the hands, or in the hands rather, of criminals. And joining us this morning to chat more about gun laws and their regulation in the country, we have Head of Legalese Intellectual Property and Entertainment Law, Christian Tabor-Rayside, as well as Director of Gun Free SA, Adele Kirsten. We've been having some very interesting discussions off camera. We'd love to hear from you as well. Please send us your voice notes to 063-408-8863. Let's talk first, Adele, about the rules that are in place, or the protocols that are in place to make sure that those people who acquire firearms legally have really gone through all of the checks. Is that system robust enough?
The law certainly is. I guess part of it is about enforcement. But one of the key principles of any good gun law is that you regulate the owner. So that's what are the criteria for you to enter the system. So South Africa has a two-tier process where you get a competency certificate first before you actually apply for the license. And what the competency is, it's not just about having training and being familiar with the weapon and how to disarm it and take out the ammunition, etc. But it's also about understanding the law and the consequences for failure to adhere to the law. But I would say some of the key criteria in South Africa, which is different to some other countries, is age 21. The international norm is 18, but we've got it at 21, and that came through lobbying from grassroots communities in 2000. The other is around violence and the use of violence and incidents of domestic violence. Now, we know that one of the biggest kind of predicators of, or predictions of whether or not you will abuse your gun or be violent is previous history of violent behavior. And so there's a section in the law which says if you've been convicted or fined an offence under the Domestic Violence Act, you're automatically excluded from even entering the system. Okay, so there are a whole set of criteria for you to enter the system. Obviously, if you've got a criminal record of any sort, you may not even enter the system. Once you've got your competency certificate, the next phase is then to have the license issued. But once you've gone through that process and you've been successful, there are kind of checks and balances during the life of your ownership of things like renewal and checking whether or not you continue to be fit and proper.
Absolutely.
As well. One of the things that Gun Free South Africa is lobbying for with the amendment to the bill is we need to raise the bar around domestic violence. Women are particularly vulnerable to being shot and killed in their home with a legal gun by the intimate partner. So we lobbying for, even if there's an interim protection order or a final protection order, that should be sufficient to prevent any potential gun owner from moving forward in the system.
We do have a voice note that came through from one of our viewers, from Dave. Good morning to you, Dave.
If the government has so few firearms compared to civilians, how come they lose more firearms than the civilians own?
I guess the question that Dave is asking there is around the loss of firearms, or how they then find their way into illegal hands. We're talking about 5,000 a year. How do we even begin to account for that? Do we know accurate stats? I mean, obviously, with the guns moving from legal hands to illegal hands, these people must be reporting to some kind of body that is responsible to give statistics, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were discussing now off camera, you know, that does happen. It does move from the legal ownership to illegal hands. I guess his question is it moving from the state to illegal hands? And I don't actually know the stats on that. I think you mentioned that it is.
We do have that data. 24 guns are lost and stolen from civilians. That includes your private security companies, and then about 2 from SAPs, from police officers. So there's loss coming from both the state and from civilians. And of course, also within the state is the issue of fraud and corruption. But the majority, the biggest source of illegal guns in this country is legal gun owners.
How do we tighten up the laws to, not necessarily ensure, but certainly to a significant level curtail the possibility of crimes such as what we've seen in recent times?
how do we tighten up? I mean, I guess the thing is, no one has a crystal ball, right?
Yeah.
We can't really see.
Or is it even about tightening the laws? Because as we've just said, the laws are there. The implementation is what's at stake, and then, what do people do with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we discussed now, which I really like, is the consequences of those who report it being lost.
Right.
And what that actually means. So maybe the frequency with which you might have lost, if you are a repeat person who has lost or had it stolen, perhaps maybe there's a consequence with regards to how you've stored it, and now you yourself are not fulfilling what is the requirement of a legal gun owner, which is where it's stored and how it's protected and whether or not it's displayed and what your license actually permits you to be doing.
Because ultimately what we're facing, what we spoke about earlier on, is that once that gun is taken from the legal holder and moves into the illegal hands, most likely the legal owner would want to have a replacement. And so there's this kind of feeding process into the illegal market, which is exactly what we're trying to prevent from happening. And so the task remains a gargantuan one.
Yeah, and I mean, the most effective way, and we've done it before in this country, is when you reduce gun availability, when you stop the circulation, whether it's removing the illegal guns. Because those guns that are used in crime, our SAPs, our police are not recovering them sufficiently. And so they're moving, not only are they moving from the legal gun owner, the hand moving to the criminal. Criminals are moving guns amongst themselves. These guns are moving all the time, and more, it facilitates more and more lethal crime. And so the best way, the most effective way, and in fact the simplest way, is to reduce availability. So that means that's another key principle of gun laws, is you regulate the type of gun you can own, including ammunition, and how many guns you can own. So you have to limit what we call, you have to limit who can own what weapon under which circumstances. Yeah.
Thank you very much to both of you for joining us and discussing this. We'd love to hear from you on your thoughts. Do you think South Africa should have stricter gun laws? Send us your voice notes to 063 408 8863. Right now, it's time for the news.
Thank you so much, Kat. Well, from gun laws very much affecting South Africa right now, let's move into other areas of concern on the national news front. And we start here where the Department of Water and Sanitation says it may consider opening more Vaal Dam sluice gates should there be a further increase in water pressure. This after heavy rains have caused rivers that feed into the Vaal and Orange River systems to overflow. 12 floodgates have been opened so far. Many houses situated along the banks of the Vaal near Vereniging have been submerged as a result. Meanwhile, the Eastern Cape government said it will cost an estimated 4.5 billion rand to repair bridges and roads damaged during the recent floods in the province. Meanwhile, the Department of Cooperative Government and Traditional Affairs says private households and businesses cannot yet apply for financial assistance after floods caused widespread damage in the past weeks. So President Cyril Ramaphosa declared a state of disaster last week, at least relating to this, to enable faster intervention and support for those affected. And some 10 people have sadly died in floods in the Eastern Cape, Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal and in Mpumalanga. The spokesperson for the department, Lungi Mchali, says the Treasury has not yet allocated money for the disaster and is still taking stock of the damage at this stage. Now, casting a wider net on the international news front, the African Union, or AU, has reiterated its zero-tolerance approach to undemocratic changes of power on the continent. On the final day of the summit in Addis Ababa, the AU said it would maintain the suspension of Burkina Faso, Guinea, Mali and Sudan, which are all ruled by military leaders following coups. The Commissioner for Political Affairs, Bankole Adeoye, said the AU has been ready to help those countries return to constitutional order. AU leaders also agreed to press on with plans for a free trade deal, including almost every country in Africa. And turning to US President Joe Biden, he has now announced fresh military assistance for Ukraine during a surprise visit to Kiev. This is Biden's first visit, in fact, to the Ukraine since the beginning of the Russian invasion, which started almost a year ago. In fact, it will be exactly a year this Friday. Biden told President Volodymyr Zelensky that America would continue to support Ukraine for as long as necessary. Biden's now expected to be heading to Poland for further democratic talks. An aide to Polish President Andrzej Duda said that Biden's visit to Kiev shows the US is indeed determined to continue support to the Ukraine. Now, on a much lighter note, we're still in the month of love, but kissing your loved one for some 4 minutes without breathing may still seem a little extreme. Not so? Well, not so for free-diving couple Beth Neal and Miles Cloutier, with a nice South African connection as well. They, in fact, made history for the longest underwater kiss ever. 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Wow. Smashing the previous longest underwater smooch record set 13 years ago in Italy. That kind of makes sense. The attempt in the Maldives was witnessed by Guinness World Records adjudicators, timekeepers, and a pretty small crowd of resort guests and staff lucky enough to be there. Neil from SA and Cloutier from Canada met some 5 years ago in Bermuda, where Neil taught Cloutier, in fact, how to free dive. That's diving without breathing equipment, and they can take it pretty far. They later became engaged and started training for the challenge in their home pool in SA. At least that's their story, and they're sticking to it. Only a fortnight before they flew into the Maldives, where they went to shatter that world record, and both said, and we quote, "It gave us newfound appreciation for what the human body could accomplish." So was this the smooch to end all smooches, or what record can one expect next? Well, just go and give the one you love a nice smoochy kiss as we get into those sporting headlines. Let's start with cricket, and great news for India as they've qualified for the Women's T20 World Cup semi-finals with a 5-run Duckworth-Lewis Stern win over Ireland in a rain-curtailed match. Ireland were 54 for 2 in the 9th over, chasing 156 when that heavy rain forced an early end to the match. So that win means India join England in qualifying from Group 2. We've got Smriti Mandhana, had earlier survived being dropped 4 times to hit a career-best 87 from 56 balls. That's how you capitalise on that opportunity. Now, big news breaking in the Premiership as we head a little further afield. Liverpool's owner, John Henry, says he is now not selling the club. But experts say there is to be some investment in the Anfield side. So Henry's Fenway Sports Group, which bought Liverpool back in 2010, said it would, quote, would consider new shareholders in the Reds in November. FSG chairman Tom Werner later said the club's owners were exploring a sale. But since then, in an interview with the Boston Sports Journal, Henry said, "We are not selling," or "Are we selling LFC? No," he says emphatically, but I expect some more interest, possibly from a Middle Eastern backer, but just keep an eye on that story. Then we turn to tennis and a major milestone. Novak Djokovic has equaled Steffi Graf's record for the most weeks as world #1 after starting his 377th week at the top of the men's rankings. The 35-year-old Serb has held the record for the most weeks as men's world #1 since March of 2021. And yesterday, he moved level with Germany's great Steffi Graf, who first rose to the top of the women's rankings back in 1987. Boy, don't I feel old right now. Now, Djokovic first became world #1 back in 2011. Wrap your head around that. And like Graf, is a 22-time Grand Slam champion. And I think he's got a few more headed as well. Now on to Formula 1. Bad news for Lance Stroll, who's set to miss this week's pre-season test after suffering minor injuries in a cycling accident. So Aston Martin have not yet decided how to cover his absence over the 3 days in Bahrain, starting this coming Thursday. And Stroll's injury means that there is a risk he could miss the opening race weekend at the same track, and that's from the 3rd to the 5th of March. They can choose from either Stoffel van Doorn, the reigning Formula E champion, of course he's going to be here in South Africa next weekend, or Felipe Drogovic, the reigning Formula 2 champion, who would be a rookie if he did indeed race. But again, we'll watch that space. But that's where we leave our sport for this Tuesday morning. Hopefully the road's not so competitive at this stage, but do have a few things to report on, and Kat's got the latest.
Well, that is indeed the hope this morning, sir. Let's take a look at traffic news all the way out in Tshwane in Pretoria. It's quite a misty morning out on the roads there, so make sure that you put your headlights on and keep a safe following distance. In Benoni in Johannesburg, there's a multi-vehicle accident on the N12 westbound after Tom Jones. Both right lanes are closed and traffic is queuing right up until Snake Road, so do plan your route accordingly as you make your way out this morning. That's it for the traffic right now. Let's take a look at the weather. Now, Southern Africa is bracing itself for a Category 4 Cyclone Freddy, which is expected to make landfall in Madagascar this morning with some 2 million people in its path. Now, the local weather bureau says Freddy poses a direct threat to the island, with winds of up to 300 kilometers per hour being expected, as well as swells of some 7 meters beyond the reefs. Now, in Mozambique, President Filipe Nyusi has returned home early from the African Union summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Namibia, as Freddy could hit his country by weekend. Madagascar has warned of potential damage by heavy rains, strong winds and storm surges. Flights in and out of neighboring Mauritius are cancelled, and hundreds of people in the capital, Port Louis, have already been evacuated to 18 refugee centres. Freddy could affect nations from Tanzania to South Africa. And early last year, Southern Africa countries were battered by 6 severe storms that claimed the lives of at least 890 people. Now, sticking with the weather news, we had this video sent in by Charmaine Mbombela out in Mpumalanga, showcasing the flooding around home. Take a look at those scenes over there. Of course, we've been reporting all week long on the devastation that these floods have caused, and we do send our regards and our thoughts, of course, to all of those who have been affected by the floods all the way out in the northern parts of the country and some of the east coast as well. And now for our final sunrise update, we have Lajith Maharaj in Tongat, who was outside and saw this incredible sky and just had to share it with us. We really do appreciate it. Looks absolutely stunning. Margaret in Kenville showcased a view of the sky with white clouds gently moving up above her. Miranda Kelly showing off pink skies out in KZN, looking like a beautiful start to the day. Also in keeping KZN, Ian out in Durban shared this picture, a perfect photo from his home overlooking the city. All we can say is, wow, that, as Graham said earlier on, the color, the composition, and the contrast of all of those beautiful images all around. We certainly do love them, and thank you for sharing them with us. Please continue to do so by sending us your videos or your photos to 063 408 8863. A closer look at temperatures all around the country. Polokwane, a low of 16, rises to a high of 31. Mbombela, 17 to 31. Pretoria, 15 to 29. And Johannesburg, a low of 12 to a high of 26. In the Northwest Province, pretty dry out there, sunny conditions with a low of 13 to 29 for Mahikeng, Klerksdorp 11 to 28, Kimberley 12 to 28, and Bloemfontein in the Free State, a low of 8 rising to a high of 26. In Richards Bay, a low of 19 rises to a high of 25 with some 75% of rain, or 77 chance of rain. Pietermaritzburg 14 to 21, Durban 19 to 24, and Mthatha a low of 12 rising to a high of 24. East London, you can expect a reasonably sunny day over there with a low of 15 rising to a high of 22. Craddock, a low of 9 to 27. Gqeberha 13 to 21, and George, a low of 11 rising to a high of 21. In the mother city, a 25% chance of rain, but relatively sunny all day round, with a low of 15 rising to a high of 20. Worcester 12 to 25, Sutherland 7 to 22, and Uppington a low of 16 and a high of 30 degrees Celsius for your Tuesday morning. That's what the weather looks like. But no matter what it is doing all around your area, let's hope that it is an absolutely terrific Tuesday for you.
I don't know, man, that Polonik's just almost too good looking, dude. Just can't focus, man. Just can't concentrate. Now, forget that news. We've got the real news. If that has been getting you down, which is perfectly understandable, let's see if we can brighten up your life, your world, your day. Tune into Expresso this coming Thursday morning, where the team from Samsung are back in our studio. Justin Hume, who we love, Zahia KG, they'll be taking us through the truly incredible Samsung S23. It's what we call next level innovation, and we might say that, but this is a quantum leap forward, guys. The sophisticated look, obviously, is gorgeous. Exceptional features will have you first in hand to get your own hands on your very own S23. And of course, what's a Samsung visit without a very exciting competition? And I'm talking slowly because this is probably going to break the internet. That's true. Expresso is going to be giving you a very exciting opportunity along with Samsung this Thursday morning between 6 and 9. You have to be here for it. We'll see you in a moment.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show on this Tuesday morning, and it's time for another session of movement. And of course, you can join us for this yoga session where we're going to be stretching. We're focusing on our lower back as we strengthened that earlier on with our fitness expert, Camlin. And practicing yoga, of course, for a few minutes a day really has immense benefits, not just for your own awareness and your own alignment for the day, but it really has many benefits as well in terms of strengthening your body, because holding those poses is quite challenging, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes a lot of stability and a lot of control. But before we get started, Kalman.
Kalman. Oh, I'm sorry. I do apologize for that. How did I go from Kalman to Camlin? All right, here we go.
Let's go on a mat. We're going to go into a side plank position here. So we're going to go here onto our left hand. So you can watch me doing this. And then we're going to step our right foot in front of the hips here. So we're going to keep that left leg nice and straight, lock out the left knee. And we're just going to drop the hips here for the lower back. And then we're going to reach back.
Okay, cool.
You're not moving.
Oh, no, I thought you said I should watch you for this first bit.
Well, there we go. So you'll feel it here, just on the side of the hip, lower back there. There we go. And then if you want to add some movement, you can just lift it up into a side plank. There we go. And bring it back down. So that should loosen up the left side of your spine there. So we're keeping that left leg nice and straight, left knee locked. There we go. So you can do that on both sides. It will loosen up your lower back.
Variation of a plank.
There we go. And then we're going to go into a cat-cow, which is kind of what we do always in yoga as a warm-up for the spine. So elbows are going to be nice and locked, belly button in. So I want you to push your hips up and back. You lift your heart. Maybe try to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift your gaze. And then bring your chin to chest. And we're separating the shoulder blades here, tucking the tailbone under. Inhale for one more. And then when you exhale, bring your chin towards your chest and round the spine up. That's a nice warm-up, especially when you're doing weights in the gym or you know you're going to do something heavy with the spine. We go with that one. And then we go into my favorite one. We're going to sit down for this one. Bring the legs forward.
Oh, this is providing a lot of relief to the lower back there. My face is telling the story.
Okay. We're going to bring the right knee into the chest. You're going to hug it in nice and close for me. We're going to extend the right hand to the side. And then roll onto your left hip. This is called the supine twist here. Look towards your right hand. And then with every exhale, we're trying to push down that right knee with the left hand to twist. You might feel a few clicks. Important part here is to keep that right shoulder grounded as you push the knee over to the side. So I like to end off my classes with a supine twist because it's a nice release for the lower back and the spine as well, including the muscles alongside the glute and the side of
That's
the
where I'm feeling it
lower
most.
back there. There we go.
Oh, my word.
Bring it back. And of course, you always repeat it on the other side because in yoga, we want to balance it out.
Yep.
So you always do the other side as well. You want to balance body left and right.
There's a bit of a click on the lower back that I felt and the stretch on the left glute.
That's the best feeling that click in the lower back.
There we go.
And then when you get up after this, you'll feel much lighter. There we go.
All right, well, on that note,
bring it back to center.
That's where we are going to conclude our movement session for this morning. Thank you very much, Kalman.
Awesome.
And of course, we hope that you enjoyed it and that you incorporate it into your own movement routine every day.
It's time to make some more pancakes. Why? Because it's World Pancake Day. We'll kick off in a moment.
Clover's range of margarines and spreads. Classic spread. Mama Bake.
Margie, how do you know what we like?
I know someone who knows.
Spread the Margie love.
Made with love by Clover.
Spread that love indeed, whether you like them savory or sweet pancakes or flapjacks, whatever you want to call them, a crepe. They're a crowd pleaser with 100 ways to prepare them. And Michaela has life-changing hacks up her culinary sleeve, and she has given us one of the coolest, well, it's more than one recipe, in fact, to attempt here using our Mama Bake to carry the flavors. First of all, are those on safety, eh? Oh, the gun's on safety, boy. I'm going to reward your... Because I know the stretching is a bit of a thing.
It is.
I get
You
that,
know,
okay?
I've been found out.
I think it's like you've got the shortest hamstrings. I don't know what it is, but no, well done. So we're going to create some delicious little treats, and we're going to kind of turn our our pancakes into desserts. Okay.
what
So
is
I know. So we're gonna create this together. So I'm gonna start with the basic batter and our mixture. And again, we go with that souffle vibe where we're folding in our
Yes.
egg whites to make them a bit more lighter and fluffier in
Okay,
that
cool.
sense. So let's get our dry ingredients.
What do I need
together.
to do right now to help? Am I just watching?
You're going to handle the next part of the process. So we're going to use some of this batter to create these beautiful little kind of almost like ice cream cup treats, like that. With a bit of fruit, bit of banana, and a little bit of chocolate chip.
Right.
So let me just get this guy together.
A little well in the center there.
Whisk these. A whisk and a mix together.
Okay, you go right here.
Is a whisk. Okay, together.
A whisk and a mix. Oh, what? A mix is a wix.
A wix. Buddy, I've got to ask you, and you've got to be honest, man. Can you make a pancake? Like, how many do you have to do before you get one that you can actually present to someone else? And I don't mean that in a horrible
I feel like
sense.
3.
3, really?
Yeah, I'd give myself a fair shot at 3.
10, bro.
Ah!
and I love it. I really do enjoy cooking. It's not like...
And then the ones that you make a horrible mess of, are they still edible, though?
Well, yeah, they don't make it to the plate.
It's like, that's a mess. On to the next one.
But something I'm realizing, I think it's the heat. Thank you, my man. So not too low, not too high. Nice moderate heat.
Yes.
Because it obviously has to, and especially these being slightly thicker. I mean, Michaela earlier when we did the souffle thing actually put a lid over to keep that heat in there. So you're almost kind of steaming it as well.
Yes, and that kind of probably gives you those nice bubbles on top as well, right? Also, do you butter your pan? Do you spray your pan? Do you oil your pan?
In this case, a bit of butter. I like the flavor profile of a nice fat spread or a butter or something like that. Just lends to it.
Lovely.
But yeah, I suppose horses for courses. I probably have tried all of them, dude. I've probably tried every way in my efforts to try and find a way to make the pancake not stick. But okay, the batter's coming together quite nicely.
That's going to be a bit of a challenge. Are we making pancakes? Are we making
a little bit more
pan
milk,
cookies?
Possibly. I'm going to ask our kitchen fairies to maybe give us a little bit more on the moisture front for that. And then we can make a loaf of bread.
These are desert-style pancakes.
And then you make it into a tiny flatbread. Okay?
Yeah.
Put it on a rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside, in Paarl, if you live in Paarl.
Or in Uppington.
At 50 degrees or 55 degrees. And then we're going to fold in. I'm not even going to attempt to fold those in now until we've lightened our load.
All right, so
that
over
becomes
here.
the batter. So we take this beautiful batter that we are almost having had created.
Yes.
And then we're going to put it in. You can do 2, 2, 2. So we can do 2 with the beautiful seasonal berries, 2 with the little chocolate chips, and 2 with the banana into the freezer and sorted. And then you can go to our finished product over here.
Oh, okay. So,
Absolutely
right.
Delicioso.
So those are going to become these.
They're going to come
when you put them in the pan.
And they look absolutely amazing.
They really do.
Look at that.
They really do.
So you can finish them off however you like, my friend. A little bit of banana, a little bit of honey, and a little bit of caramel. As we said, this is not exactly breakfast. It's dessert, yo. It's dessert.
It's the breakfast. Nice. I'm going to just give it a little bit of a angled
notice they
slice.
Don't give us the chef's knife, eh?
No. We're not qualified for that yet. No, you need to graduate with like a few stars from chef school before you...
Please talk us through your creative...
So this is, you know, I really wanted to make it a bit more interesting than just...
That's a cascade.
Yes, exactly.
Cascade of banana,
you need to feel like, and it needs to look like the bananas are falling off the edge of the pancake.
On the precipice of the...
Oh, look at that, it actually did that. Oh, I hope you got that on the slow-mo.
Took the swan dive.
Okay.
Absolutely
Gonna do a bit
beautiful.
more of that, just nice thin slices as well. Make it go a long way.
And the joy here is when you're cooking with your mama baker, it becomes the perfect kind of transfer of those flavors. Absolutely beautiful, suitable fat for all kinds of cooking, baking. It is a win. If you want to find this recipe and recreate yourself, you can find it on expressoshow.com. That looks spectacular, buddy. Well done.
That's what it is, buddy. Look at that.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have a garden, this one's for you. In fact, you may have heard of the Polyphagus shot-hole borer. It might be pronounced slightly better, but this, in essence, is a tiny beetle that is causing major problems and damage to trees, not just in South Africa, but globally as well. This invasive pest not only poses a danger to the health of our urban trees, but the habitats of many living organisms as well. Yes, it might be in the burbs, but it's still an ecosystem. And Professor Francois Rutz, who was part of a study on this particular insect, now joins us to discuss the nature of these beetles. And if you have come across anything weird and wonderful in your garden or out in nature, please share it with us. We want videos, we want pictures. 086 408 8863. We love it. Prof, thanks so much for joining us. Good morning. So let's start with the little villain of the piece here, if we will, because I feel like we don't want to paint it with just one brush at this stage, but we need to know more, because I love the fact that we live in such a wooded, beautiful country, certainly down in our neck of the woods, so anything risking that is a problem. But what is this troublesome Polyphagus shot-hole borer? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, it's perfect pronunciation there. So the Polyphagus shot-hole borer is a minute little beetle. It's basically the size of a sesame seed.
Oh, that's tiny.
2 millimeters long, and it's able to kill 300, 400-year-old trees. So it originates from Southeast Asia, got into the country, probably in Durban or Richards Bay, somewhere there. via shipping, and then hooked onto wherever we go, and we take it with.
How does it actually kill the tree? What's happening in that process?
So the beetle drills a hole into the tree and creates a little nest in there, and in the tunnel systems, it cultivates, it farms a fungus. So the beetle does not eat the tree, it actually eats the fungus inside the tunnels, yes. And then the holes in the tree that they create and the fungus growing in the tree blocks all the transport vessels
going up
and no nutrients and water going up and down the tree, which then kills them.
So it's their farming habits that are essentially destroying the trees.
That's just like us, yes.
That is crazy. So you talk quite specifically about the areas where they should have come in, Durban, Richards Bay, so presumably that's where they first started to be evident. How widespread is the problem now?
So in South Africa, it's currently in all provinces except for Limpopo that we know of, and also in most of the major cities. So it's very obvious that it's moving around with us through the landscape.
What's the plan of action? Obviously, you've been involved in a study now to ascertain what has been going on in the extent. What were the findings? What has really stood out for you, and what's the plan of attack?
So the thing that stands out for me is that this beetle has such a wide host range, so 150 different tree species.
Oh.
So it goes for a lot of things, and it goes for trees in urban areas, trees in forestry are in danger. Some of our fruit trees, since last year, it's started going to our pear trees and apples and things like that. Agro industry is going to have some impacts. So it has a very wide host range, and it's almost impossible to get rid of once it's there.
So just because farmers don't have enough to deal with right now, we thought we'd throw this into the mix. So over 150 trees, this is a little bit terrifying. So, I mean, why is there not more fear? And I mean, this potentially could cut out, it feels like, a major rung in the environmental ladder. So what does your gut tell you is the right way to approach this?
Well, so first of all, we've done a study to just look at what the impact's going to be financially. And in South Africa, it's going to be over 200 billion rand in the next 10 years if we do nothing. And the most important things that we can do is educate people. Like you said, not enough people know about this.
Yeah.
So we need to educate people and then also literally try and stop the movement of the beetle. Stop using firewood or green waste and things like that.
That are moving around.
That's right.
Wow, just when we feel like we're getting one thing right, it's two steps back. Professor, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Still lots to talk about. I mean, of course, I think this has probably sparked a bit of fear in a lot of people right now with good intention, I promise you, but we need to send, or at least draw a line in the sand clearly right now. If you are in any way affected or have any questions, clearly we have exactly the right person to chat to this morning. You can send us those questions, 063-408-8863. And if you've got any pictures or videos to share of anything weird and wonderful, we'd love to see them as well.
All right, so we recently showed you the revolutionary way to make your favorite Mama Bake pancakes using a squeezy bottle. Now, in celebration of Pancake Day, we are taking ours to the next level in our Mama Bake Pancake Art Challenge. So here's how it's gonna work. Our two contenders have 2 minutes to create the most beautiful, heart-shaped pancake using the pancake batter in the squeezy bottle. And then they'll also need to flip that pancake in that given time and then make it the best that it can be. May the best pancake artist win. Who do we have competing? Well, to my right-hand side, we have a teacher from Cyclone High School. It's Miss Peterson! And to my far right, the pride of Greenside High, it's Graham Richards! There's like one person cheering for Greenside High there.
I'm the only guy who comes with his own theme music. Good luck, girl. Good luck.
So you heard the rules, right? You know how it works. Get your apron on, please.
Boom.
Okay, you got to make sure everyone is fitted correctly.
Safe.
2 minutes is all that you have.
Okay.
We want a heart-shaped pancake. And you need to flip it, present it onto your plate as beautifully as possible. We'll judge on...
Cook this up because I've told you that I find it absolutely impossible to make a pancake.
This is exactly, we literally devised this game 5 minutes ago.
Nervous until now.
How are you in the kitchen?
I'm good with cooking. I myself, I don't eat cake or any sweet things, so I don't really bake. But
that's going to make this
So you're evenly matched.
No, I'll
yes.
be fine. I saw you earlier.
I think this is going to make you really, really nervous, and it's going to throw you completely.
No.
So by the way, this is
Cool
Miss
like
Peterson from Mrs. Peterson from Cyclone High. She is the lady. Do you call yourself the manager of the Brown Brick Boys?
Yeah.
Are you their manager?
They would like to call me the manager, but Yeah, maybe.
When they start paying you,
Maybe.
can they call you that?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes.
What subject do you teach at school?
I teach English.
English, all right, fantastic stuff. Well, I'll be expecting a high quality pancake from you, ma'am.
And presumably
some
this is
birds.
batter, eh?
There's batter in there, yes. We've just given it some beautiful colors. Okay, you ready?
Beautiful, okay.
2 minutes is on the clock. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Good
Pancakes
luck,
away.
my sister, good luck.
Good luck.
So we want a heart-shaped pancake, and we want it to be as beautiful as... Oh,
That's fine.
wow.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's looking very good. Oh my goodness. Mrs. Peterson was like, no, I don't know how to draw. I'm not artistic. This is something else.
Let's see. Oh, you just took my idea, but it's fine.
You do remember, and if I may remind our contenders, that the pancakes also have to be flipped, right? So just take that into consideration while you're constructing yours, which is looking beautiful on both ends. Graham Rich is going in with that hard press.
Oh, it's just...
My...
Come on, stick together, stick together. You can do it, little
Mrs.
guy.
Peterson!
Gee whiz.
This is looking amazing.
I feel like you are savant-ish.
Oh,
okay,
my
is there
word.
anything you can't do, girl?
Yes, I can't run that fast. Out of complete choice.
Okay, we've got 15 seconds.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to get the flip in. Come on, you can do it.
You're playing with
Was this even possible to do in the first instance?
Crack it up.
The
crack it
producers
up.
need to be questioned about this. Are your pans on?
Okay, I'm getting bubble. I'm getting bubble. I need a spatula. Ah, sold.
I'm going with a technique here.
What technique are you applying, Mrs. Peterson?
So I'm doing as much as the cover from the bottom so that there's no holes.
So
that
30
more
seconds
time.
to go. Maybe you want to crank up the heat on your pan.
Are we allowed to?
Yes, you can. You can find your plate, crank it up. 20 seconds to go. I can't believe it. I feel like these are going to be destroyed
There we go.
in 15 seconds. This is
Okay, so what I've done was...
9, 8, 7,
Oh, no,
6,
no, 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 no.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. Okay.
It's okay.
I don't know how you were expected to do that in 2 minutes, to be honest with you, but here we go.
Oh, man.
You know what? Okay. Okay, let's give points for the look of the pancake in the pan. And what do you guys think? Is it Mrs. Peterson's pancake?
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's for the look here. Okay, then we go for Graham's pancake.
Oh, no, but you've got to
Okay.
look at it from an angle.
That's
okay?
all right.
Don't look at it straight on. Look
So
at it
here
like
it is.
that, and
Here
then
it
it
is.
looks fine.
The next test is plating. So who can get their pancake onto the plate?
Can I tell you something funny? This still is the best looking pancake I've ever made.
That-
Which is the irony, okay?
Get it onto the plate.
My technique didn't work so well.
Yeah, you might want to... Mrs. Peterson, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry
You have to
myself.
get that onto
No,
the
don't
plate.
be sorry. Just be better, man.
Get it on.
Do better.
Get it onto the plate.
My dad's going to be so disappointed.
There we go. Is it gonna get off the pan?
But you see, you
It
do
will
this
one day.
once, okay, and then no one expects you to make pancakes for them ever in their
Perfect.
lifetime. You know, you just sort it out.
All right. No, you got to get it onto the plate now. Just
can,
flip
sister, you
I
got it.
tell you what. Take the plate, put it over the pan. No, you can't.
Stuck.
Is it stuck?
Stuck.
Oh my word! It might. Oh! Are we gonna have something?
Do it, girl. Just
Here we go.
don't do yourself. Yes! Can you sort of see the love? You can. I think for concept and idea, you took it, girl.
Okay.
You took
The
it.
winner will be decided by the next aspect of the competition. You each have spoons.
Arm wrestle.
Taste your pancake.
No.
Mine's
The first one with a mouthful of their pancake wins.
Come on, girl. Mmm.
Mouthful.
Look how nice and cooked.
Mouthful.
Oh, mine is so nice.
Okay.
Yes, mouthful. Mrs. Peterson wins!
This is the best looking and best tasting pancake I've ever made.
Mine is very
Beautiful. While you taste each
Rare.
other's pancakes,
It's rare,
made
lovely.
with high-quality ingredients for that authentic taste that you love, you can turn, of course, to Mama Bake pancakes. Turn them any shape, any size, and they're all super delicious.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for rejoining this conversation. Before the break, we explored all about the polyphagus shot-hole borer that is creating quite a lot of trouble, a tiny beetle that's causing major damage to trees, not just here in South Africa, but globally as well. But it does mark potentially disaster. And this invasive pest not only poses a danger to the health of our urban trees, but the habitats of many living organisms as well. And it feels like it is really widespread. Professor Francois Rutz, who's been part of a very important study I'm learning on these insects, now joins us to discuss the nature of these beetles. And if you've got any questions or anything weird and wonderful to show us, please do it. In fact, Al-Marie weighed in with a voice note. Let's hear from her. Oh, she's got a picture to show us. Let's take a look at this. I'm betting you're going to know exactly what that is. You learned that in first year, hey? What is that?
That is a crab spider.
Crab spider. How big is a crab spider traditionally?
About a half a centimeter across. Yeah.
Okay, not a bad guy. Dangerous, not dangerous?
No, they sit on flowers and they start change their color like a chameleon to mimic the flowers, and then they wait for bees and flies to come in, and then they jump on them and pounce them.
Can we get them to tackle a few polyphagus beetles? Identification, but now if they're so small, so what are the warning signs then? Does it exhibit on the tree?
Yeah.
Can you see it in any noticeable way? When we're talking about these beetles, what are the signs that they might have infested and we need to do something? What's that first warning?
So the first indication that you will have to look out for is a living, apparently happy tree with little holes in it, and then usually the tree reacts like it would react to damage with some gum oozing from that, or frass, sort of sawdust coming out as they drill into the wood. So each tree species is actually different. So if they go for a fig tree, for instance, you'll see that milk sap that fig trees make. You'll see that pouring out of little holes.
Defense mechanism.
That's right, yeah.
Contingency plan.
Yeah.
As a homeowner, what do we do? Do we need to approach someone from a scientific space? Can we tackle it with a particular kind of insecticide? How do we approach saving our trees? Can you save a tree once you've seen the holes?
Well, currently there's no indication that you can save the tree once it's infested with the beetle. So we're working with colleagues in California and Israel, and also now recently in Perth in Australia, doing lots of chemical trials. None of these chemicals get rid of the beetle once it's inside the tree. So the best thing to do is, if there's lots of beetles in the tree, that tree is going to die, so get rid of it before it causes more issues.
Just to reiterate, because I can't actually wrap my head around the possibility. So you gave us a number in terms of cost. What is this potentially going to cost us in the kind of foreseeable, the medium term, next kind of 10, 20 years?
10, 20 years is going to cost a couple of billion rand for South Africans, and the burden of that's going to fall onto homeowners and municipalities, where they have to actually cut down dead and dying trees. You can't leave these. Branches fall on people, branches fall on cars, so you have to get rid of this.
Yeah, and especially with the crazy weather. So how have you, now that we know this, it almost feels like we know too much. Who do you need to act? If we could put out a call to action right now, who do you need in your posse to help you along? And is there a number we can call if we have questions or we want to alert authorities to a possible infestation?
So what's happening across the country, most municipalities are setting up their own sort of reporting systems so that the public can look at the municipal systems, the websites for the municipalities, and find the reporting tools if they exist. And you can report the tree there. Some municipalities can actually remove trees, but they're running out of money because there's a lot of trees that need to be removed.
There's a lot of other pressures as well.
That's right.
In your heart of hearts, how scared are you? Is this something that we have a frame of reference? Have we been able to tackle something like this before to this degree, the extent?
So I think in terms of devastation that this beetle is going to cause for trees in South Africa, and it's going to spread throughout Africa probably eventually, is going to cause a lot of devastation, something that we haven't seen before, across a lot of different sectors that we haven't seen before. It's not just agriculture, it's not just forestry, it's a lot of different
the overlap as well.
And that's where a lot of the problems come in, where we in South Africa have not had to deal with something like that before. It's either a pest on a crop or on a specific tree, but not this wide.
With this much crossover. Wow, I don't know if I should be thanking you or just sending you on your way. I thought rare diseases with little babies was going to break me. I didn't think the beetle would be the one that broke me today, but this is absolutely terrifying. Again, we've got one of the foremost experts here. If you've got any questions and if you've got anything weird and wonderful to wow us with, we'd love to see it. 063-408-8863. We are taking you into the mini wild today with very big repercussions.
Yes, and we're also celebrating young talent on the show this morning. We've had the Brown Brick Boys entertaining us to much excitement and enjoyment throughout the studio, and I'm sure in your homes as well. And so on social media, we've asked you about celebrating young talent in your communities, the rising stars that you brag about, that represent your cities. We've said, please send us your voice notes and videos to 063-408-8863. And we have a video. Take a look at this. Definitely with the energy there, that young lady is an aspiring actress. Yes, definitely got the personality for it. We've got some images. This is Alia, and Alia would like to be a presenter one day. Certainly got the pose and the poise for it. Oh, look at that. Yes, yes, a little culinary hotline bling, ting, ting, ting segment over there. Please send us your voice notes, your videos, your images to 063-408-8863. We are celebrating young talent on the show this morning, and this after the break, we have the Brown Brick Boys about to drop another hot performance on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
Unlock your 100% this Wednesday evening at 7:30. Meet a medical doctor who dreams of expressing his creativity through beautiful floral arrangements.
I'm going to need some help, Rel. I mean, I don't even know the names of all of these flowers.
Oh man, that's exactly why we are here. We're about to unlock your 100%.
Can't wait.
We need to create an event where he can really push his creativity as well as his passion for flowers. Follow Tinus Mare's journey Wednesday, the 22nd of February at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Tuesday morning on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, where we've been entertained this morning by up-and-coming artist, of course, the Brown Brick Boys, accompanied by their teacher, Cindy Peterson, all the way from Soneka High School. We've really, really enjoyed them, and so have you. We actually have a voice note for you guys sent in by Ibi. Have a listen. Good morning, Ibi.
The Brown Brick Boys, they sing amazingly well. Well done, Brown Brick Boys.
So you sing amazingly well, man. People are loving you out there, loving you. Time for us to meet the guitarist in the group, Narcisse, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, this must be, is this a dream come true for you? Have you always wanted to be on stage performing?
I always wanted to be on stage performing, but I didn't know it was going to happen this early.
Yeah.
But all I can say is that hard work paid off, and practice made perfect.
Yeah, and you're getting there as well. Keep climbing that ladder. Where do you want to see the group going to? Where do you want to see the music going to?
So, basically, I wanted to go as far as our eyes can see, because the sky is not our limit.
Yes.
We can go even past that. We must shoot for the stars.
Yes.
So, and also, like, I just love that, that we all have the same goal, which is music, and finding a comfort zone in music, because music is a way we can communicate to everybody.
Yes.
And that's one thing we all have in common, that we have a certain song that hits us in our hearts, or helps us to go through tough times, or a song that understands our pain.
Yes.
So we're all about that, and making people feel like you are not alone.
Excellent, man.
So
loving it.
we just want to keep on
producing that kind of
that message, and we don't want to go astray.
Yeah.
So yes, sir.
Mrs. Peterson, where can people find the Brown Brick Boys if they want to support them?
They can find them on Instagram at brown_brickboys, as well as TikTok. They must just give you the TikTok handle. I'm not too sure about
I'm sure we'll tag them on our TikTok as well. But right now, time for the best part, which is the music. And they're performing Daniel Caesar's Best Part.
Slowly, it's the sweetest thing, and it won't change if I had it my way. You don't know that you are. You're the coffee that I need in the morning. You're the sunshine in the rain when it's pouring. Won't you give yourself to me? Give it all. I just wanna see. I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're a star. When you go, I follow, no matter how far. If life is a movie, then you're the best part. Oh, you're the best part. It's a sunrise, and those brown rises, you're the one that I desire. When we wake up, then we make love. It makes me feel so alive. You're the water when I'm stuck in the desert. You're the teller that I take when my head hurts. You're the sunshine of my life. I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're a star. When you go, I follow, no matter how far. If life is a movie, then you're the best part. If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't ya? Won't ya? If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't ya? Love me, won't ya? If you love me, won't you say something? If you love me, won't ya? Won't ya? If you love me, won't you say something? if you love me, won't you love me? Yeah.
What an absolutely beautiful way to close off this Tuesday. Did you just do that? Even inspired Graham to do something, a little something there. Come and join us over here, Lucian. Beautiful stuff. Thank you so much to the Brown Brick Boys. Thank you so much for helping us celebrate local talent. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. We love you.
Too much. Too much.
That was awesome.
Oh, well done.
To get to the heart of how you feel, all you need is love and a dish that no one cooks better than you. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.